It's time for Side Scrollers with me, Stuttering Craig.
You decide when you lose, not other people.
And Blabs.
I like pickles.
And co-hosted by our friends from around the internet. If you like common sense, hit that thumbs up button and, of course, the subscribe button. And join us Monday through Friday live at 11 a.m. Central Time. And now, broadcasting from our homes, it's time for the #1 gaming and entertainment podcast on God's green earth. It's time for Side Scrollers.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome on out to Side Scrollers on YouTube.com and Rumble.com and SideScrollers.locals.com. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The sound must be drowning me out with why it's going down. Hello, thank you, Blabs. Happy Thursday to you. Hi, I'm Stuttering Craig. My, oh my. We have stuff to talk about. We always have stuff to talk about. That's the beauty of the show. Every single day, thank you, Internet, for providing us with a plethora of just nonsense to talk about. You guys are great. Thank you, Internet, for being so insane. Hello, Blabs. Good morning.
Hello. Yes, the audio was absolute shit. But hello, it's Thursday.
I don't know. We got to figure it out. I'm pretty sure it's StreamYard. The fact that I am talking over an audio file on StreamYard that's fairly loud. Whatever. The only solution, Blabs, is if we do it in a studio. I think that's the solution. You start moving, making side scrollers, bringing it, do it like this guy. Do it like this guy does. Do it like
guys.
Formerly, Matt Bader has since made the transition now.
Yeah.
Dutch Butters.
Yeah, where did that come from?
Wow, I got this weird stuff. Dutch Butters, he's a hell diver and he likes to, kill bugs and bots. So I've been trying to shed that Vader persona because Star Wars sucks ass, right? So the Dutch Butters thing just kind of happened in the studio, which you guys can come use anytime you want. You guys know that, right? So come on down to Vegas, use the studio.
We may be relocating, Blabs.
Me out.
And this thing just kind of happened organically on the Salty Nerd podcast, and we stuck with it, and I'm gonna go with it. So new name, new brand. Dutch Butters is here forever.
Love it.
Good. So yeah, thanks.
Catchy. I like it. I like everything about it. Well, we're glad you're here, Dutch. Welcome to the show.
I'm still getting used to that, but it'll be all right.
Just own it, which is great.
Yeah.
Owning things. I'll tell you what. Hey, can we just stop down for a second? Look at. Did you see our thumbnail today? Did you see the thumbnail? All it takes sometimes is just a nice little scroll through Twitter. That's all it takes, a little scroll through Twitter to find. I'm not gonna lie. We got Jeff is here, and I looked at the comments, and I'll tell you, I did giggle. I want to pull this up. Because it was spectacular after I saw this. So, Jeff, how are you? First and foremost,
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, guys. Happy to be back.
It's wonderful to have you back. I see you're approaching 200,000 subscribers over on the channel.
Yes, the Acolyte has been a terrible show, but it's been very good for WCBS. So as we expand into other topics, we're just going to have fun making fun of the Acolyte.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Love it. Well, congratulations to you. Like I said, I certainly wish that, actually I don't, but I wish I had something that I loved so much that was just constantly being destroyed by an evil overlord.
No.
I know.
It hurts.
In a sense, we do kind of have that just with video games as a whole. But there's that. Speaking of, so I snagged your picture off of your X account. And this is my favorite comment because I'm not going to lie. I did giggle when I read this. This is looking like Rob Schneider doing an impression of Attitude Era Rock.
Hell yeah. Dude, that's exactly what The Rock said on SNL when he showed up like 24 years ago. He's like, I'm a sexy version of Rob Schneider. I'm like, I can see the comparison. So, hey, I was at a Twilight Zone party down at Liberty Con this weekend, and I had my Woke Busters pin on. So I was like, hey, I was telling people about stuff as I was at a party drinking. So,
what is Liberty Con?
So, Liberty Con is a convention about writing. So, I'm working with a publishing company behind the scenes. I'm waiting to make the announcement like official, but everyone kind of knows.
Wait, do we need to mute you to make sure you don't spoil something for yourself?
No, I'm good. I know exactly how to handle it. But long story short, I was down there meeting some authors, meeting some other people, and I had the night off, so I went to this Rod Serling 100th anniversary party, and they didn't do shit for the Twilight Zone, but it was a lot of fun.
Nice. All right. Well, you look great. You look awesome, and I think that's the thumbnail we're going to use for you forever now. So
it's better than the picture I drew of myself, which I was already happy with. So I'm happy. So thanks.
looking good. Well, look, we got a great show ahead of us today. I know the Dr. Disrespect stuff has been tired, but it just keeps on going. I thought we were going to be done yesterday, but there's just so much hypocrisy associated with this across the video game industry. We got to talk about that. So we're going to get into that. We have David Tennant. We're going to have a special time with Blabs and Jeff where they can talk about Doctor Who, which is going to be good. We have some amazing quick hits today, including Nintendo being under fire, as well as the editing of a classic arcade game during its re-release coming up, which is exactly what everybody fears when it comes to these type of things, when it comes to media. So with that said, I'd like to remind you guys, we are once again live over at rumble.com/sidescrollers. Join us over there. Hit the follow button as we continue to grow a little bit more every single day, approaching 8,000 followers. Why do we love Rumble, Blabs?
Because it grows organically.
That's right. We also have an X account where you could have found out that Jeff and good old Dutch Butters were on the show today. If you just followed us over there, and you can watch the show if you just can't catch us live over on YouTube or on Rumble or wherever else you want to watch, like Kick. Which is great. So you can find us over at Kick as well. We also have an Instagram account, don't we, Blabs?
We do, so follow some memes and memes and clips of the show. Otherwise, I guess you're going on a trip. I don't know. On a rocket ship, going on a trip on our crazy rocket ship. Little Einsteins. Let's go. Dads know that reference, right? No, I don't know. What are you talking about?
Little Einsteins. It's a show for kids. At some point, most kids watch that show, Little Einsteins. It's great. It's a great little show. They go. I
bet you learn more than your kids do.
Yeah, I watch a lot of the kids' shows. You got to when they're always on, when they're like itty bitties, they're watching Little Einsteins, learning about stuff, shapes, and things like that.
All right, Little Einsteins or Bluey?
Bluey. I mean, Bluey for entertainment value. Little Einstein for just for like little kid stuff.
Is that a show I need to watch? I've never watched Bluey before because I don't have any kids, but I hear everybody talking about it.
I'll tell you what, it's a great show. It hits harder if you have kids.
Yeah.
But it's great. It legitimately is a great show. It's super fun to watch. The biggest problem with Bluey from a narrative perspective is that he has two loving parents that are with him at all times.
Oh no.
So like it's a great show. It's wonderful. With that said, so go check out Bluey. I'm a big Bluey fan. You can also listen to the show over on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and find us over at sidescrollers.locals.com. And if it is your first time tuning in over here on YouTube, do us a favor, hit the subscribe button. Join the 85,900 just normal men, just looking for common sense in the video game and entertainment world. Let's do our best to get to 900 likes today, and of course, 25 memberships to start the show. But guys, it is Pride Month. We only have just a few more days, just 2 more shows during Pride Month. And I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that we do have Pride merchandise this month. So make sure you guys pick up your American Pride t-shirt right now. Link is in the description down below. Go pick it up. You could probably get it by July 4th. No promises, but go pick it up right now. It'll look good. I've seen a lot of pictures from folks who picked it up. You can also pick up my daughter's Let Us Skateboard t-shirt, where she gets a portion of the sales. It's going to go into our post-high school fund, which is great. She's made almost $200 so far from that. So great stuff, guys. Thank you very much for your support. And she appreciates it very much too, which is great. So yeah, man, we got a lot of good things going on today. Blabs, why don't you give us a rundown of today in video game history?
Okay, so today is June 27th. We have Shockwave being 30 years old, Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens. I had to do it because of Star Wars talk and everything. This was a huge disappointment in the video game. And then there's this really weird video game called My Neighbor's Lonely Wife too, and it's 1 year old today. The end.
Is there a sequel to that one?
Apparently, well, that's the second one, apparently. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Would you like to know the synopsis of it? Yes, I shall read it for you, Craig. What?
Blabs, if I was to rate your list of games today, it would be a 1 out of 10.
Hey, man, I tried. Some days there's just nothing, right? But let me read you the synopsis of My Neighbor's Lonely Wife 2, okay?
Please.
This is, by the way, the publisher developer Mango Party.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. After moving to a new house, you are quickly greeted by your stunningly beautiful neighbor, Haruka Aoi. She is 28. Oh no! Hang on. She's 28 and lives together with a husband of 6 years. On top of her graceful beauty, she also has a very charming personality. However, she doesn't seem to have any friends here in the neighborhood. Chat with Haruka and slowly deepen your relationship. There will be no force, hypnotism, or anything of the sort involved as you befriend her and seduce your way into her lonely heart.
Everything you said is void. Because if Roddy's right and you missed Mischief Makers for the N64 today, I don't even know where to start. I'm calling HR.
I am the HR overruled.
Oh my gosh, ridiculous. Yes, extremely cultured.
Well, listen, I just want to point out also, and I didn't do this one because it was released in Japan, but Tamagotchi for the Game Boy version was in Japan today. So that's cool.
All right. Huh. Well, thank you, Blabs, for sharing.
I did try.
Gentlemen, you did. Not sure if you tried hard, but you did try.
haven't played any of those games.
So. Jeff, you got any thoughts on my Neighbor's Lonely Wife 2?
I would put money down that it's better than Lego The Force Awakens.
That one was really disappointing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anything from The Force Awakens is disappointing, but I will save that rant for another time.
Brandon over here says, and yet, anti-game slipped through the cracks. There you go.
Hey, you're welcome.
Nice choice of words.
Not with Blabs. Never with Blabs. She catches them all like Pokemon. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's insane. Well, look, we're off to a great start. We got a lot to talk about. But first, Joey Bag of Donuts says the 360 closeout sale has begun. Some games are as low as 47 cents. Check it out before the end of the month. I'm sorry. What is this? Is the Xbox closing its marketplace? Xbox 360? I didn't even know the marketplace was still open.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
I didn't realize it was 47 cents. That's why I took a screenshot. I'm an Xbox guy, and I'll buy any game for 47 cents, including...
Yeah, begin on July 29, 2024. You will no longer support the Xbox 360 store or the Xbox 360 marketplace from Xbox support.
From July 29th?
Begin on July 29th. We got a month.
Okay. Wow. I haven't turned on my 360 in a long time. Actually, I don't even know where my hard drive is. You remember the hard drive was like an external hard drive? You can take it off. I don't even know where my hard drive is, but I kind of feel like I should probably go take advantage of that. Wow.
Do you have the newer Xbox? Because you might be able to I'm going to see if I can just download them to the new Xbox because it plays 360. So
does it? Okay. All right. Well, Joey, thank you for that. Heads up. It's good. BP says these YouTube chat summaries are clown shoes. What's the current chat summary? How does that even work on YouTube? I haven't even seen it yet. Can you summarize the chat?
How do you do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Craig Rode Jr. came in and says, watching Zlander's video yesterday is the same way I feel about Dr. D. I don't know why he would do this since he has everything, but he did. Yet the only fangirl is crying about how wrong this is. Right. Right. There's a lot of hypocrisy associated with this. Now, I haven't seen Zlander's video. But yeah, it's amazing to see, you can only speculate based off of people's egos. But my thing is, if you look at the timeline of this is 2017. He's on top of the world. And I think his ego got a little too big, and he was like, I can get away with anything. And he tried and he didn't. And ultimately, it always comes back to bite you in the patookie. I am the Icarus says, what? You never played the 3DO pack-in game Shockwave? Yeah. No, I did not. Has anybody ever played Shockwave before?
Is that the one with the woman's face that comes down, like the bald lady? It's like an R-Wing looking game.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, but no.
Okay, then I have no clue what it is.
I don't think that's Shockwave. I do not know. Blab, maybe let's see if we can do a little finding of the footage of that. Murnum came in and says, greetings, normal men and lady. Sending love on my birthday today. Let's go. Thanks for helping me get through my work day. Well, look, you're going to have a great time tonight. Well, thank you so much for your support. That is spectacular. And Hey, thank you very much. Happy birthday to you. Hey,
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
as a matter
Happy
of fact, I think we actually have a birthday wish from you. We do. Hey, Dan Vask, what do you have to say?
Happy, much happy birthday for you.
All right. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate that.
I found out what Shockwave 1994 is, which was the video game. A single-player video game. Shockwave Assault is a science fiction combat flight simulation video game developed by Advanced Technology Group and published by Electronic Arts for various home video game consoles and PCs. A player takes control of a futuristic fighter plane to defeat extraterrestrial ships and tripods.
Okay.
There you
Sounds 30 years ago, you could have played Shockwave on today's date. There you go.
Huh.
Dude came in over on Rumble, says, just a heads up, Craig, all the Xbox 360 games that are backwards compatible on modern Xboxes will still be purchasable. Getting them on the modern store was part of the deal to get them in the backwards compatible program. Thanks, dude. Appreciate that. Good stuff. And Joey says, have to go to the website, if not 360 Market. All right. Thank you, Joey. That's interesting. Interesting for sure. Epsilon also comes in and says, is it that hard to not try to groom minors? These are all wonderful questions that we listen. Having never done that before, I don't know. I would imagine it's pretty easy to not do that. So, and look at this. Eliane came in, says with the American Pride T-shirt, says Texas Pride shirt win. Blabs greater than Craig. I'm gonna delete that last part. Texas Pride shirt actually sounds great. Sounds great. Dougie Birch says, it's so easy. That's right. All right. We got a lot to talk about today. Thank you guys very much. Do us a favor, hit the thumbs up button. But right now, it's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everybody in the world's favorite segment. It's time for Hard News. Hard News. All right. Look, we got a lot going on in the world of video games and in the world of tonight. There's apparently a big debate happening in the world of politics. As you know, whatever is happening, I'm not. We talk about things on the show. I'm not that political of a person at all, right? But I see things that are happening. But I did see this earlier today, and I thought, I think this does have to do with just life in general and we're in our current state of things, right? I saw this video and I wanted to share it with you guys. Have you seen the guy who did the reorder of his Walmart order? Have you seen this video being passed around? Dutch.
Just this morning when Blabs showed it to us. But yeah, this is amazing. All
right. So this guy, well, I'll just let him tell the story himself. Listen, how dare you? How dare you?
I just want to double check here. I mean, I see the facial hair and everything, but anyway, go on.
All right, well, check this out.
I feel like I'm going to be sick. I just
Listen, he may be on meth. All right, we don't know these things, but it doesn't matter. All right, here we go.
Look through my Walmart history, and I found this Walmart order from 2 years ago for the whole month worth of groceries. 45 items cost $126. A whole month of groceries just for me, basically. But I did notice this reorder all button, and I wanted to see how much it would cost now.
Okay. So this order was from 2022 to, what's that, Blabs?
Inflation.
Yes. All right. So it was, how much was the original cost of it? It was
122, 126, whatever it was.
Whatever it was, 126.67. Let's play the Price is Right game. Dutch, you've seen this. Jeff, what are your thoughts? How much do you think that exact same order from 2 years ago would cost today? We always like to play Price is Right. Blabs, you've seen this, yeah?
I have not actually. Okay. You put it in the document. I would say 300 or 350.
Yeah, if it's close to that going over, I was going to guess 3, but I'm going to go 287.
All right, 287. All right. Chat, fire away. What do you guys think? Obviously, we'll play the game as well. I see a lot of things here. You know, over 9,000. That's right. We got we got 280, 225, 199. You know, good job, chat. Good job. All right, let's see how much it cost. The exact same order, just 2 years later.
groceries just for me, basically. But I did notice this reorder all button, and I wanted to see how much it would cost now. Now, this order of 45 items for 1 month would have cost $414.
Crazy.
That is 4 times more. How the fuck? How? Like, what?
Hooray!
Well, there you go.
That sucks.
Yeah.
When you guys are saying like, man, it sure costs a lot to live today. It sure does. $414 compared to the original cost of $126. That's about 3.5x.
Yeah.
Wasn't this enthusiastic and
I don't know, man. My salary hasn't gone up 3.5 times in the last
Oh
few
man.
years. So
Right. Well, I would just say this, man. Like, people talk about how much it costs to live. Like, I think that's a great example of it. That's just going to Walmart, and I know I've seen it. I know I see it every week. We go to Sam's, right? To like on a week-to-week basis. The Sam's order used to be like $100, and now it's almost $250. It's crazy. So, and now we've had to cut back because it's cost so freaking much to go to Sam's Club. Stupid. Yeah. So
my wife and I we try to go out to a nice sit down dinner once a month, just get caught up on things. This week we went to Taco Bell. It was great. So.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. Chalupa. Spent $45 on tacos. It was great. It was awesome.
Right. I know. Isn't it amazing? Like going to Taco Bell or getting an extra value meal. It used to cost, like, you go out and get a good burger. It used to be, and I sound so old man, but like that's the way it is. It used to be you can get a good burger for $10. Like I'm going
with fries and a drink.
With fries and a drink at a sit down restaurant. Right.
Yep.
That's now $18 to $20, and going through to McDonald's getting an extra value meal, which I don't eat, but I certainly know I've seen it. Like they're like anywhere between $8 and $15, depending on where you're at.
McDonald's just, I think this week brought back, the adult $5 Happy Meal because nobody can afford to eat actual food at McDonald's. It's not on the dollar menu. It's crazy.
And the problem is too, like their quality hasn't increased at all.
No,
it's same old crap. I'm like, wow, McDouble was $1. Now it's $3 or $5. It's like, I understand how things work and it sucks, but I just on principle am not buying certain things. I'm just not like. I just live in a world where like certain things are worth it and certain things aren't, and it's silly, but like I'm just not paying that for a burger. I'll literally do anything else.
My favorite part about McDonald's, and I don't really eat at McDonald's hardly ever. But Jeff, you're a big guy. You could probably understand. I'm sure you like food, right? You go to McDonald's, you get the $5 adult Happy Meal, and it's a small fry, a small drink, a 4-piece nugget, four nuggets, and like a McChicken. That's enough food for my granddaughter to eat. So it's just, and what the options to give you are just hilarious.
Here's a food hack, real quick. If you don't want to spend extra money, folks, and if you don't hate this restaurant, if you go to Chipotle, outside of the protein, you can load up on everything. So they're a bowl or a burrito is like $12 to $13, but like I tell them to just keep adding, and my burrito's the size of a small baby, and it usually lasts me 2 meals. Like I'll sneak it into a movie theater in a special bag because the burrito's literally this big. So there are ways around that. Maybe I'll do a series on my channel of how to save bucks in this economy.
Yeah,
there you go. Right. That I think that sounds like a good idea. Yeah, the $5 meal, as you said, at McDonald's is a McDouble cheeseburger, small French fry, 4-piece nugget, and a small soft drink. So there you go. And the thing is, they're still making money on that, right? Yeah. They're still making tons of money on that. Mercenary came in with the $1 direct donation. Says, you guys think that's bad? I had to get a second job because they cut my hours and my pay at work. My last paycheck was only $150 for a week's worth of work. I'm doing delivery, and now I have to pay extra insurance just to cover bills. Mercenary, stop donating to us. Like you hold on to your money. If your paycheck was $150, I don't feel right accepting your money. But please do not. Like, I appreciate it, but if your paycheck was $150, do not support us in that way. Just watch the show, and we appreciate it. Like, that's spectacular. But thank you very much. Trevor Tiger came in and says, finally get to catch one of these live. Hope y'all are doing well and don't lose sanity to the latest in the Docs drama. Yeah, we're gonna. Well, it's not necessarily about Doc. It's about some other stuff that's going on associated. It's Doc adjacent, if you will. And Miku says, "Come on, man, don't vote for the not." Wait, okay. Thank you, Miku. Appreciate that. And Dubby Nanner says, "Let's go, Brandon. Thanks for the high price food." There you go.
Thanks for high priced everything, Brandon.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. Thanks for that. That's good. All right. Let's move on. Let's go on to some video game stuff. If we can all look, because we can all sit around and be sad about the price of everything in life forever. But let's go talk about some video games here for a minute. Dead by Daylight has a new character coming to it, and I know one of our friends, one of our hosts, is very excited about this, or at least would have an opinion about it. Have you guys seen the newest character coming to Dead by Daylight? Mm-hmm. Lara,
what is wrong with you? Lara, you were there when the games were out. Anyway, it's fine.
Is that a bird?
Lara Croft is in Dead by Daylight.
Great
Let's check it out. Here's the trailer, or a little teaser. Kind of mannish, I'm not gonna lie, but that's okay. Whatever.
I mean, it suits all the other characters. They're all kind of not very feminine. They are feminine, like Ada and all that, but they're not like super duper duper feminine. Some of them have great butts though when you're running and walking, donks. But yeah.
Well, Lara Croft is going to be in Dead by Daylight. I'm sure lots of people. I don't know, like. Do you feel like we have franchises that have seen a lot of success over the years, right? You think of games that were very prominent in the late 90s, early 2000s. And Tomb Raider is a franchise that, it saw the reboot in the mid 2010s or so. That was kind of like dark and gritty. And, when she died, it would be like brutal. She'd have, she died in all sorts of gruesome ways, which I actually very much appreciated about the Tomb Raider, the updated Tomb Raider games, where she would die. And like, there are some franchises where they are very hesitant to show their lead character die, or die in a bad way. I think of I always go back to Ryu from Street Fighter. Like, Capcom is extremely protective of Ryu and all their characters. They don't want to see them die in any way, shape, or form. But like with her, it was pretty cool to see. So I actually think this makes a little bit of sense. Her being put in Dead by Daylight. With this, Blabs, does this get you excited at all? Would you go in?
I play Dead by Daylight pretty often, I think, in comparison to the rest of you guys. I'm assuming. Like, I played it last week with Wicked and everybody, and it was a lot of fun. But I don't pay for any of the skins or anything. I play as, Megan, just because she's funny. And that's really it. Like, I wouldn't, for me, this is not for me. Like, I don't care. For Melanie, I'm assuming she would probably love it if she plays the game. I'm not sure. I think people who like Lara Croft will want to get the skin if it's a reasonable price.
I think, the reason why you have DLC characters like this is you try to bring in a new audience, right? Mm-hmm. You try to bring in an audience that either didn't know about the game, or or you're trying to get their existing user base to come back to the game because, oh, that's cool, and spend a little bit more money. Dutch, Jeff, have you guys played a whole lot of Dead by Daylight before?
I have not played a lot of Dead by Daylight. No,
I've played it, but it's really, I love horror. I don't like those types of games that setup. So no.
It's fun to play with friends because then you just shit on each other and you troll each other. But I don't like playing it by myself.
No, honestly, if you're playing Dead by Daylight by yourself, it's kind of
unless you're the villain, right? Unless you're the actual killer, then you kind of have to play by yourself. Unless you're playing with your friends and you're trying to kill them. But yeah, it's kind of weird to just squad up with random people.
Well, good on Dead by Daylight. We'll see how that sells. Coming out on July 16th. That's coming soon. So, all right, Blaz has been anxious to talk about this the last few days. We have a reboot, or I'm sorry, a sequel coming, gentlemen. Which I know. Look, if you can just keep your pants on about this, this is a big deal in the world of cinema. Blabs, fill us in on Freaky Friday 2, starring Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan? Please fill us in.
Well, listen, I'm not actually excited for this. I don't want this because I love the original Freaky Friday from the early 2000s, which is also a remake of another Freaky Friday, right?
Yes.
So this is getting a sequel, even though this was a remake in the first place, funny enough. But yes, it's been confirmed. It seems like they are in production now or in some stage of production. Not only these two actresses will be coming back, but so is apparently like Chad Michael Murray, who played Lindsay Lohan's boyfriend. Mark Harmon, who's the fiance, will be back. So like it seems like everybody's getting the band back together. But I don't really want to see all these actors and actresses will be back. And I'm not really looking forward to it. I feel like they're gonna throw some type of DEI bullshit because it's Disney. So
Of course.
I wanted to. Why can't we just leave things alone? I don't understand. So whatever.
Labs, it's easy. Money. That's the reason. They think there's money in this. That's why we never get to leave anything alone.
Yeah, so there they are. We're doing the little trailer spoofs and stuff. And yeah, as 90s Dragoon says, let me pull this up. It's completely unnecessary, and I agree.
That's like most movies that are made today. They're unnecessary and just money grabs, nostalgia grabs, right? So
yeah, nostalgia is not really as marketable as people think. Like it'll pop a. I hate to use wrestling phrase, but it'll pop a buy rate. It'll get you excited for a weekend, and then you realize how stupid it is, and you're just like, I didn't even like that, and then you just don't even watch the old one anymore. That's the problem they never think about.
I know. Sorry, I was taking a big deep breath. Well, I'll tell you what. I know somebody who will be into this, and that's my wife, who is the target audience.
Why?
because my wife loved Freaky Friday when she was a kid.
So do I loved it as a kid too, but no.
But here's the thing, Blabs. This is the thing that you're not thinking about. You are on the internet all day, right? This is what you do. You're surrounded by this nonsense on a day-to-day basis.
So tell her the truth, Craig.
You understand the infiltration associated with Disney and all their nonsense, and Amazon and Netflix and media as a whole, right? You know who doesn't? Average mom. Yes, average mom doesn't understand that. Now they're starting to get it, right? You've seen that pushback with Disney on certain projects, right? But they're not infiltrated with it on a day-to-day basis, right? It's our job to talk about this stuff. And
actually, I'll counter you a little bit on that. So I have a friend from like many, many years ago, and I didn't tell her anything that was going on about Disney. And she's a massive Disney fan. Like she dresses up as Cinderella. She goes to the park. She cosplays, everything. Big nerd, pop culture. Loves Star Wars. She texted me the other day and she was like, what the fuck is this shit? This is so woke. I can't even get behind this anymore. So like all the normies who used to love everything, even they are actually paying attention. And I didn't even say a peep to her about this. I'm like, you enjoy it. You have fun. Let her be free.
My mom called it out too. She saw something I made. She's like, what happened to Star Wars? She saw the one with the lesbian space witches and the singing and all this. She's like, what is this? She's like, people that are 65 and older see this.
Hey, at least they're making a sequel to Freaky Friday and not redoing the Parent Trap in Star Wars.
Oh my god!
You know, because they're basically just redoing the Parent Trap in Star Wars right now with the twin girls and stuff.
But like Natasha Richardson was her name, right? She's dead, so like leave that movie alone.
So they're getting weird with their sequels and their redos. They're doing sequels and redos and completely different IPs now. So it's funny. It's interesting. So see how they do it.
I guess we'll see how the show does or the movie does here when it's released in 2025 with Lindsay Lohan. And I'll tell you what, you know something. I will say this before we move on. Actually, Jeff, did you have something? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I just said oh boy about 2025. Continue, please.
I thought I will say this. I think it's pretty amazing to see the comeback that Lindsay Lohan has been on, right?
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Good for her.
Yeah, she didn't she get to a pretty dark spot like with most people?
Arrested, drugs.
I think
she was like lesbian for a time. Now she's married, has a kid. So like,
wasn't she with some woman named Sam or something? Right? That was the thing. Yeah, Eminem made a rap song about it.
She went gaga for a bit. Yeah.
Spiraled down pretty hard. Yeah. So it is nice to see somebody come out of that and have a success story.
That's Disney for you, ruining the youth.
Yeah.
Ruining that youth. That's right. Yeah, man, that whole childhood actor thing is nuts. Just to see how messed up that gets. All right, let's go to Wizards of the Coast. Hey, we talked about the debate that's happening tonight. That's a little bit of political, but hey, let's talk about a political person who previously ran for president, Hillary Clinton, as Wizards of the Coast is accused of using Hillary Clinton as a model for the new Dungeons and Dragons Paladin. Now, you may be saying to yourself, it can't be that close, right? And besides, what's the deal? Like Bill Clinton was in NBA Jam, right? At a certain point, there's like public figures who are in video games, and it's like I think it's okay. I mean, NBA Jam was a long time ago, but I think Hillary Clinton was actually in the new NBA Jam, actually, like 15 years ago, when the new one was released, which was spectacular, by the way. But either way, she's been they're now accusing of using her likeness. So let's go and see really quick what exactly this looks like. And
No.
I mean, the hair and everything.
got to be honest, it's kind of there. I mean, I don't really. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I can certainly see it. Y'all's thoughts? Is the likeness comparable?
She's got that Cruella hair too.
It's a dead ringer. There's no doubt about it in my head that they used her as the model for sure.
Definitely very Karen-like. My question is, why? Like, why did they go for an old lady as a paladin?
It's really weird.
The response to this has been really funny. The new paladin doesn't actually kill anyone. They all just commit suicide under question. Oh, that's funny. So, anyways, yeah, that's been the going line along there. So, pretty funny stuff. And I don't know. You think that Wizards of the Coast will catch any slack on this?
No, they'll probably be like, "Oh yeah, we used the greatest should have been president ever thing." Yeah, they'll make it some political twist and be like, "We endorsed Hillary." That's all.
You got to remember who your audience is there, Wizards of the Coast. And aren't they technically responsible for the whole Pinkerton thing a couple years back and the Lord of the Rings race swap and all this other crap with their card games? Like, I get it. Like, Disney thinks that controversy is going to get people to rush out and subscribe to Disney Plus, or these people think that they're going to get rage views, and then the opposite side of the people who feel a certain way are going to rush out to buy these cards. No, nobody wants this crap across the board. You're just wasting resources on shit that people don't want. Please stop. It's not good for anybody. Well,
I guess we'll kind of see kind of what happens with that. Obviously, that's I would love to see the if they actually respond, which they won't. They'll say, "Oh, it goes back to any likeness is just strictly coincidental." It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. All right, let's go on. Let's see. I got this pulled up. I do. Thank you very much. All right.
Maybe.
What's that?
So I was going to say maybe they'll put Joe Biden in as an undead necromancer or something.
Come on, man.
That's raw, man. That's raw. All right. Let's go to this next story here. This is when we talk about physical media versus digital media and the fear of editing products that were once physical, then get brought into digital. This is what people are talking about as the new Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection is going to be editing and removing some images from the Punisher arcade game. Now, before everybody freaks out, right? They're not going to be editing violence or anything along those lines. But it is worth talking about because this is one of those things where you go, okay, now we're seeing kind of like, we're just gonna forget about the previous ending. So specifically, they're talking about this is an upcoming collection, the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, where the Punisher was like the only beat 'em up associated with in this group of games that are coming out. This says Marvel vs. Capcom and MVC2, and you can see the list right here: X-Men, Children of the Atom, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men vs. Street Fighter. I mean, it's a pretty good collection of games. That a lot of people have a lot of fond memories from. And in the arcade game, it's a pretty straightforward game. You're punching, kicking, going across, and you're shooting guns and all sorts of stuff. A lot of people have fun memories of this game too. The problem lies in the ending of the game, specifically, I guess, in the Japanese version. there is an image of the Twin Towers. And that looks like they're going to be, this is the rumor here, because I have the ending pulled up, and the ending itself doesn't really have anything in it that is really noteworthy that could be potentially edited. So that's the general rule, or the general thought here. I actually want to play through this in we'll just play through it in like 2x speed so we can all see it in real time. But so they escape, and then there's just like a credit roll along the way. You can kind of see it here. I can't really see what they would potentially like change in this outside of.
They'll just put a lot of garbage in it, a lot of graffiti, and just a lot of dirt.
Well, you got to remember the Punisher is kind of, or at least was, canceled last year or 2 years ago. That logo is technically not, allowable at Marvel.
Right.
So there's a lot that this character really did. They should just leave him alone at this point.
Well, man, that's so anyway. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts on like editing of like the World Trade Center out of the end of this? I feel like it's kind of like,
It's
there it is.
shit.
It's kind of, it's stupid, right? Like,
It's disrespectful.
Thank you. That's the word I'd use. People died that day. Don't take, look, we got over this over 15 years ago when they made Watchmen. They put the trade centers in this alternate 1985. People aren't triggered by the fact that there's old buildings. It's just history. We got to stop this. We have to alter history to worry about the sensibilities. Nobody whose lives were lost on that day, their family's not going to pick up the Punisher game and go, oh, it's so offensive that you would benefit from my. No, that's not a thing. This is just stupid.
Yep.
I agree with you in the idea that like it's very revisionist history, right? And I understand like showing the skyline. I mean, the game itself takes place in the 90s. That's when the game was produced. So like, are we just going to say, well, they didn't exist?
Right.
And chat, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this, chat? I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this as well. Dutch,
I think they need to leave it in as if nothing else, as an homage to the past. As like you said, it's disrespectful to remove it. I mean, I understand that, it happened 23 years ago now. That was a long time ago. And a lot of people, it just doesn't hit the way that it hits people of my generation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm never going to forget that day. But, I work with people that are like, I wasn't even alive then. It hits different now. So it's farther back now in history to where it's just not in people's mindset anymore, like it was in ours back then. But they definitely need to leave it in. You don't want to forget the past. You need to learn from the past, and erasing things doesn't help. You know what I mean? It's a sad thing that they would even consider removing something like that. It's just an innocuous little blurb at the end of this game that very few people actually probably finished and never even saw it. So
it is literally the last screen of the game, right? And you think about the percentage of people that will actually complete the game from beginning to end, and how many people will actually see this, and then the percentage of the people who would see that and be like, oh, I can't believe it, and then just become so triggered based off of it. Like, what are we doing? Right. what are we doing here? You're right. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Wow. Okay. Let's move on. So we've talked about releases, re-releases, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the games that was recently announced that Nintendo was going to be re-releasing was the Donkey Kong Country Returns HD game, which if you played the original Wii, did you guys play the Donkey Kong Country Returns for the Wii?
The Wii was a letdown.
Oh, wow. Bold
I waited in line for 13 hours, man. I bought 3 games, Zelda, Smash Brothers, and something else, and then all the shovelware turned me off, so I was 360 back then.
Bold statement, Cotton. Wow. Well, I love the game. I loved it a lot. It's like probably, if I was to rank all the Donkey Kong Country games, Donkey Kong Country 1, then 3, and then 2, and then like HD and Tropical Freeze are kind of their own, or I'm sorry, Returns and Tropical Freeze, I kind of think of them as their own thing. Both spectacular games, though. But they're remaking the Wii version into an HD, and it's had some criticism associated with it. Like, people have been like, oh man, like it doesn't look that great. You would think it'd be full of polish, and there's been some animations that and details that have been removed, and there's been some videos detailing that online and some X threads and such. But the big thing associated with this game is that they're saying this game is going to cost $60 when it's released. And on the surface, you go, okay, well, that seems like the going rate for video games, $60 to $70 these days. But then you remember, not too long ago, there was another game that was remastered called Metroid Prime, and they sold that for $40. So what's the difference between Donkey Kong Country Returns HD and Metroid Prime Remastered outside of the $20? This is, I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Is $60 the right price tag for this game?
No.
I'm never going to spend full price, and especially $60 on a game that's, what is it, 20 years old? How old is this thing? Even if it's remastered, I kind of have a personal policy where I just don't spend full price for games, because there's no reason to spend excuse me, full price for games anymore when they're on sale so much on places like Steam and Epic Store and all this kind of stuff. Free games are everywhere. It's just like, if you spend more than $20 on a game now, I just think you're kind of insane. You know, so but that's just me. You know, the Steam sales, I'm waiting for it to start here any day now. I need that new the summer sale to start so I can spend $50 and get like 6 new games. But that's how I roll. So
dude, I'm like you. I don't like to pay full price, and I'm waiting for the Steam sale. Some games I will drop the extra money for. There's like my yearly wrestling game that I'll do that for. You know, Craig, I was trying to think of an answer earlier when you asked this backstage. I thought, does Nintendo value the Donkey Kong game because it's newer on the Wii, and the Metroid Prime games were on the GameCube? And I'm just trying to come up with a reason why they would jack up the price. But then I'm like, wait, the Metroid Prime trilogy was only $40, and this is just a game. And I really just can't justify what they're doing.
I can't say that I'm still not going to buy it. That's the problem. that's the problem. Is I am excited for this game because I did like it, and here's the thing, and I recognize being part of the problem in a situation. I have the game. I own the original game. I don't know where it's at. Number one, I don't even know where my Wii's at this point. Then I have to get out and I have to plug it back in. Then I gotta find all the cables and everything. Like at a certain point,
you gotta find the batteries for the controllers.
I know.
And the rubbers to put on the top of the controllers.
You gotta find the little Motion Plus thingy sensor too.
Well, Nintendo kind of screwed that console up by they were worried about the price, and so it's a standard definition console when everything at the time was in high definition. And like, if you go back and play these games on your Wii, they're all blurry too. It's
right.
I get why you want it, because I do buy. Like, I bought the Skyward Sword HD remaster. I don't like it, but I bought it.
That's right. Don't ask questions. Just consume. I know. I know. I'm part of the problem in this situation, and my nostalgia for that game is too hard. I like it too much. I played it when it first came out. I remember vividly sitting on my couch, and I remember like smiling and enjoying my first playthrough. Now, I have not played it since then, but I remember just enjoying it so much. So I get it. I'm part of the problem. Sorry. Okay. At least I'll admit it. That's the problem.
We all have our thing, Craig. It's all right, man.
I'm a giant loser. All right. Speaking of being part of the problem, hey, gamers, their reputation just as a whole, not too positive. And stories like this are a great example why. As a New Jersey man traveled to I'll just read the story. New Jersey man tries to kill rival IRL over an argument from the Arc Age MMO, right? So here it is right here. This is from Niche Gamer. Thank you very much, Niche Gamer. It says, a New Jersey man was arrested in Florida for trying to murder a rival in the long-running MMORPG Arc Age. According to the police report, Edward Kang, who is 20, flew from Newark to Jacksonville, Florida, and proceeded to drive to Fernandina, I guess, beach, where he attacked his victim, about the same age and sex as Kang, with a hammer in his home.
Jesus.
And the sheriff came in and says, I just want to let you know, this is a weird one. Some things you can't mess up. All right. So the guy, it says the victim relatives were able to fight off the attacker. Attacker was dressed in all black. The victim was injured in the head and has been out of the hospital at the time of writing. So they got in an argument. And here he goes. Police deducted that the attack began over an argument. So Edward Kang accused the victim of being a bad person online. Though, however, Kang acquired the victim's address, how he got the victim's address still being investigated. So, and the sheriff says, I would say, Mr. Kang, it's going to be a long time before you play video games again. So there's a lot of layers to this outside of this guy clearly being very, very mentally stable in the best way possible. The fact that he thought about this so much that he booked a plane ticket from Newark, New Jersey to Jacksonville, Florida, after finding out the guy's address. Then apparently rented a car or Ubered on the way there, picked up an entire outfit in black, bought a hammer, and then still proceeded to do this. This guy, this is the face of hate right here. This guy is messed up. Wow. These are the type of stories that get released and they go, gamers are so violent.
I know.
And by the way, look at this horrible, horrible straight white man. Wow.
He looks like a 4-year-old's face, right? Like that looks like a mentally deranged child. This guy's mentally unstable. Psycho.
Just a little bit. Just a little psycho for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just a bit. What's the level of unhingedness do you have to number one, be so upset that you need to find where somebody lives IRL? 2, spend your money. Because here's the thing, like usually when you book a flight, if you book close to the flight date, it's exponentially more, right? So he probably booked this flight 2 weeks out, right? So I'm just trying to think through the thought process here. Something happens in game. He gets so mad, he does research on this guy. Then he gets so mad that he finds his address. Then he starts researching flights. And at no point he's like, this is a bad idea. I probably shouldn't do this. I'm going too far. Then he pays for the flight with his own money. Then between the 2 weeks, let's just say 2 weeks between him booking the flight and him getting on the flight, there's no thought of like, okay, maybe I went too far. Then he gets on the flight. As the flight is taking off, he's still like, yeah, I'm going to do this. He lands in Florida after a 3-hour flight, and he's still motivated. He's like, I haven't crossed the line yet, right? He then goes to the store, buys a hammer, and at no point he's like, I haven't crossed the line. Where is the line? I don't know. That's the most fascinating thing about this process is trying to think like this guy. It's crazy. And as Kalichi says, Craig, there's no point in trying to understand insanity, right?
I really want to know what the trigger was that finally set him over the edge to make him take the trip.
Same.
What was it? What happened in game that put the guy over the edge?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, was it a bad trade? You know, did he get ripped off on his trade for 10 leathers and 15 jewels for his new armor set or something, or what's going on? You know,
whatever happened to rage quitting? You know, you get angry, you quit the game, and then you just kind of like calm down. Like
it's like
I miss that.
These internet tough guys in the game chat rooms, like, I'm gonna come kick your ass. Like, yeah, well, I live here at such and such place. Come try it, man. You know, I've heard those a few times. Nothing ever happens, but it's funny. Crazy stuff.
Well, that guy will be going away for a long time. And the reality is that he's probably going to plead insanity and temporary insanity. Although I don't know how temporary you can be when it's clearly premeditated to the point of getting on a plane and going like going through all those steps that we talked about. It's just absolutely fascinating. So, hey, thank you there, Mr. Kang, Edward Kang, 20 years old. For furthermore, by the way, just notice this. What's going on with his shirt here? What's this? All this 2X going on right here?
Yeah.
Maybe he's size 2X.
Maybe it's the XP he was hoping to get for committing the murder. I don't know.
Double XP, baby.
Double XP.
Maybe that means he only has 2 lives left.
Oh man, yeah, I don't know, man. I think he's down to his last one right here. All right. Okay, Blabs, I want to turn this over to you as you wanted to talk Doctor Who with Jeff here. So by all means, the floor is yours.
Okay, are you gonna pull it up? Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. All right. So first of all, besides the ratings are an absolute flop, we all know that. No shock there. However, we're not exactly going to talk about this Doctor Who. We're going to talk about the old Doctor Who, which is David Tennant. Now, David Tennant was at some awards ceremony. I don't give a shit what it was, whatever. He won something cool, good for him. But the problem was he said something that was very, very, very bad. So he said that he wanted a lawmaker who happens to be a black female, mind you, to disappear and not exist.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Wow.
Now, here's the thing. David Tennant has like some weird LGBT child, whatever the case is. So he's an ally. He's very pro all this mumbo jumbo agenda, whatever. So he says David Tennant doesn't wish like a certain person would exist who is that lawmaker. Now, Jeff, your thoughts on just that alone?
Disappointed but not surprised. I feel like a lot of these UK actors take these extreme stances like a Simon Pegg, and I'm never surprised what people in that industry say publicly.
Okay, let me pull up the thing because Craig's doing a terrible job helping me here. Okay, so what? Okay, he just muted himself. All right, so let me pull this out for you guys real fast. I'm changing screens. Okay, here we go. This was a better thing. So also, J.K. Rowling has commented on this. So David Tennant is on the left. The lady, who I cannot pronounce her name, I'm sorry, she's on the right. So David Tennant, like I said, told this woman to shut up and not exist, even though this woman is very much pro-women's rights, right? So she's never said anything. Yes, there it is. That's the clip we need.
I was working on it for you, Blaz.
Oh, okay. It's like, you're not helping me here.
Here we go. This is the clip.
Anymore. See, we shouldn't live in a world where that is worth remarking on. However, until we wake up and Kemi Badenoch doesn't exist anymore.
That's the name of the lady right there.
Yeah, Badenoch. And that's pretty violent. It's like, I don't want her to exist anymore. It's like, so a black woman, you don't want her existing anymore? That's not very progressive of you, Mr. Tennant.
No, it is not.
And he's up there on stage talking about how it's kind of silly that he's receiving this award. And I think we all agree that he's receiving, like, the fact that this award exists to begin with is crazy. But let's go and continue. By the way, you can tell very quickly he realized that he messed up. Okay, because he says that and then he goes,
I don't wish ill of her. I just wish her to shut up.
so
Sure.
It's like, oh, there we go.
The British LGBT Awards is amazing. He's a straight white male, married.
Shouldn't that trophy he has on be like 16 more letters on the end of it?
It's not very inclusive,
carrying
is
it
it?
like this. So
No.
I think it's missing a few things. That thing should be going all the way across the screen.
It's like
I
pie.
agree.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
So David Tennant was also in Harry Potter in the fourth movie. So that's kind of unrelated, but J.K. Rowling had a little thing to say about this. And it's political, so I'm not going to read about she said something and she basically roasted David Tennant to smithereens. I just think it's very ironic that this man who has had such a successful career, right? The face of Doctor Who, right? Harry Potter, that Amazon Prime show, I can't remember what it's called. From
the Gods, right?
Yeah, and that was a fun show in my opinion. I saw the first season and that was it. Like, he's had a very successful life, married, children, everything. And he's saying that a woman who's protecting women's rights, who happens to be black, to shut up and disappear is a very bad look.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like a reflection of the whole oppression Olympics. It's like, here's your thing. Oh, my thing trumps it because mine's, really it's just my thing. That's all the answer really is. But it's the world we live in, and it's really stupid.
Yeah. So that's basically the run of the mill. An actor who has no self-awareness has now put himself and shot himself in the foot.
All right. Well, hey, welcome to the club. Well, welcome to the club there, David Tennant. Congratulations. You've done it again.
You played yourself.
Don't we have that somewhere? Oh, no, here it is right here. Actually, we have this one right here. This is a perfect example for celebrities.
There's a problem that has nothing to do with me. I need to solve it.
Right there. All right. Let's move on to this Dr. Disrespect stuff, right? So this has been a hot topic the last week, and we talked about it yesterday. I thought yesterday was going to be the last time we talked about it. But we've kind of said our piece about the Dr. Disrespect stuff, right? We've talked about this at length, but there's been some other reactions as well as some other actions that have been taken by other companies in regards to it that I think are worth talking about. And it's the hypocrisy that is the most fascinating thing associated with this. Now, look, we're going to say some things here that you probably may not agree with. And you know what? That's okay. But the idea here is that we can still have discourse about this stuff. That's what this show is built around, right? Is that we don't always have to agree on things because guess what? Normal men don't agree on everything, okay? But at the end of the day, we can still talk about it. So let's talk about it. Obviously, we've talked at length about the relationship with Nick Merckx and Dr. Disrespect. And, people talk, at first Nick Merckx was like, hey, I just kind of want to wait and see. What are we talking about here? Then Dr. Disrespect came out. He had his statement. And then Nick Merckx came out and was like, whoa, okay, I'm going to, he distanced himself from it. He's like, this is pretty much messed up, right? So he went into detail yesterday about their relationship. And I think it's important to actually showcase this because this is one thing that when you work online, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, and I'm sure you guys can attest to this as well. When you work online and you appear on people's shows or you play games with people, right? More often than not, it's like a work relationship, right? Mm-hmm. You're friends with them, you're acquaintances, but I don't know. Like I see Blabs every day. I don't know everything about Blabs, right? Blabs, I don't know what she does after the show is over, right? We talk throughout the day. We're always building a show, but what Blabs does in her personal life is her business. Jeff, I love you. I don't know you, right? Same thing. I've seen you in person. I would say we're good acquaintances. I would say we're friends, but I don't know what you do in your personal life, sure. Right? And that's the same for everybody that appears on the show. We all have our own lives, and when the show is done, we all kind of go our own ways. And that's kind of what happened here with Nick. Nick was asked to talk about his relationship with Doc, and this is what he said.
We still don't know if he knew she was underage. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. He admitted that in his tweet. Yeah, people are still trying to defend what he did. Even he tried to defend what he did in a really odd way in that tweet. Like he said that he knew that she was underage and he would still text her. And the text, I can't remember how he put it in his tweet, but what did it say? That the texts would sometimes go a certain way. Yeah, he edited the tweet 3 times. Just so bad. It's so bad, you guys. It's so bad. And look, what do you want from me, man? I gave the guy the benefit of the doubt until we knew more. But look, it's unacceptable when you have just in any world that is unacceptable. You got to be smarter. You got to be better. You can't do shit like that. It's not only is it against the law, but where the fuck is your head and your heart at to do things like that? What are we doing? Why are we doing stuff like that? So to act like I don't care or act like I'm not upset about the shit he did is crazy. You just have to remember that he was a friend of mine. So obviously I'm going to behave a little bit differently. I got some weird fucking, attachments to this, I do. He was a friend. People think that we're like best friends. Like we're hanging out. I don't even know the guy outside of a wig. We took one picture together and newsflash, he was in a wig. And we talked for 8 minutes. Now I don't want to dumb down a relationship and
so pretty much he's saying like, look, we some people say he's trying to cover his tracks, right? But that's the reality of this type. I mean, that's my experience with a lot of this stuff. You know, I play games with, you know, people all the time online, but I don't know them personally. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on this.
I think it's weird. I'm sorry. I just
You go first.
say real quick. I think it's really weird how he like said like 6 times, he's my friend. We're friends. We do this, you know, and then he flips right around the next second and said, all I did was take one picture with the guy one time and he had his wig on. So I don't have any relationship with him at all, basically, is what he's saying. After he said he was friends with him like 6 times in the same clip. So,
well, I think okay, sorry.
Ahead.
I was gonna say, I think, you know, to use the interpretation of friend the way Craig did is a more accurate statement because, like, you know, the old Fandom Menace people, we all streamed together and stuff. I didn't know most of them. You know, we were all friendly. We would call them friends and stuff. But you can have a situation where you work with people like on the old High Council days. I didn't know those guys personally. I mean, you know, we only knew what we told each other and we went our separate ways at the end of that stuff. So, I mean, I could understand the interpretation of the word friend here.
Sure.
Right. Because, you know, I think we all have online friends that we don't truly know. Right. And even, I said, I've worked with a lot of friends online that I have met in person. But like I said, it's like how I would say that I truly in my life, I have like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 really good friends, right? My wife being one, right? And then a couple friends that I've known for decades, right? Yeah. And everybody else is like, you know, it's like, you're my friend. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's not like, but I don't know everything about them. And even like the closest friends that I have, like I have a friend that I've known since high school, right? I don't even know all his kids' names because he has so many, you know what I mean? Like, so how would I know what's happening in their personal life? So, you know, for in this situation, I get what Nick Merckx is saying. And as far as, you know, like he was my friend, but there's like online friends and real friends, you know? And I think that there's a truth in that.
I kind of feel like I wish guys like Nick and Tim, the Tap Man, and these guys, I wish if they were really Doc's friends, to me, they would just move on and not comment. To me, this feels like they're kind of looking for clicks on their reaction videos to Doc's situation a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's weird.
Yeah, I feel like if they didn't say anything, they would be harassed nonstop, lose sponsors, something. It would have looked really bad. Like, oh, you're not saying anything about this. Look what just happened. So like, it's not a win-win situation for anybody.
But I don't think anybody should be saying anything anyway. This thing was done. It was sealed. It was the settlement was done.
You know, people got a version and this little internet, baby. 2024.
This little asshole comes along and just spills the beans for reasons, right, Craig? I mean, what this guy was trying to sell tickets or something. I mean, I'm sure Doc was going along saying, okay, this thing is done, it's settled, it's sealed, it's like I can move on with my life, you know, I can redo my relationship with my wife and my kids, and you know, I can move on. And then this stuff 4 years later gets all blown up again because of internet nonsense. And you know, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to defend Doc. What he did was bad. It was wrong. He shouldn't have done it. But I do think that there might be more coming along because there had to have been some kind of laws broken by getting this stuff out there, right? I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how it all works, but as far as I know, this stuff was sealed. Court documents were done, and this Twitch idiot with a vendetta comes along and fucks everything up. I'm sorry.
It doesn't. But the court of law doesn't matter anymore. We live in the court of public opinion. That's all that matters on the internet these days, good or bad. I'm not justifying that. And you know, this is a reflection of the society that we've built with the internet and technology and accessibility to everybody and everything. You know, you think back in the day, you're like, oh man, we're going to be interconnected. We're going to be able to do this and talk and that. It kind of sucks, really. Like it was better when you couldn't be connected to people 24/7 because you didn't have to be around them 24/7. I think the more you learn about anybody, you learn more than you want to know, and it's always.
Right. So there have been a couple super chats in talking about this in particular. Hypnotic and Rapture says another former Twitch employee with authority reading whispers reveals more creeps than Doctor. Twitch protects their e-thoughts doing the same thing, keeps quiet on their heinous acts. Well, I have not, I haven't seen this. And at that point, like I had Blabs when this came in, kind of do a little digging on this. Blabs, you haven't found anything about this?
No, other than that was the comment that we saw from that Twitter account called Realm yesterday, and like it was a whole thread, and we talked about it on the show and everything. Other than that, there really isn't anything new. No.
But I'll say this: would anybody doubt that? Right? Of course, they're like we talk about BX and her investigations on Twitch in general, and look, if anybody doesn't think that there are horrible people that are predatory on Twitch, that it's happening literally right now as the show's happening, right? Then you're ignorant and you're dumb, right? Because that's happening right now. And if you don't think that Twitch, when we said this many, many times about this, if you don't think that Twitch is going out of their way to prevent getting any of this information leaked, like they're doing their best to just brush this aside. They don't want anything to do with this because you can't release the whispers, because then all of a sudden, you got to release the whispers for everybody else. If anytime there's an allegation, hey, Asmongold said this. Pick your favorite streamer said this. Release the whispers. And that would be a horrible situation, just a giant can of worms that Twitch cannot contain. And when you're a company like that, literally, once again, let's not forget, owned by Amazon. That is a can of worms that cannot be contained at all. So it's tough. But there's more here. There's more. And I'll get to this in just a second, but I do want to read off some of your super chats here. Cuddy Snark says, you mean to say that associated people should not distance themselves from someone doing things Doc did? It's a horde take Dutch. Okay. People associated with Doc should not distance themselves. Okay, I hear what you're saying, Cuddy. And okay, I want to make sure I pre-screen this. Doc Tua done with the internet, turning my white panel van into a new food truck business. Doc's free candy. Inquire within. I appreciate the meme accounts that have come with this. It's been pretty crazy. And Taki says Steiner math can prove Doc's innocence. All right, sounds good.
They say all men are created equal.
That's right. All right, so let's go to some of the hypocrisy associated with this. And some people will say this is a bad take, and I will say, please walk me through it. As I didn't know this, but the Dr. Disrespect character was in the NBA 2K franchise. It was in the NBA 2K24 game as apparently there was a point in the game where you played against him in the story mode or something. I don't know. I saw a cutscene of it. But so 2K has confirmed that Dr. Disrespect is being removed from the NBA 2K24 in the next patch. Now, fine. That's okay. The problem with this, and once again, it all comes back to the allegations associated with Dr. Disrespect, right? And then there is one major difference, but still, we're talking about scummy things here, right? Dr. Disrespect, allegations, we're talking about inappropriate content with a minor or inappropriate conversation with a minor. But the problem with this is that NBA 2K24's cover athlete is Kobe Bryant, right? And this was a tweet that I saw earlier today, which I retweeted, and it says, the guy on the right image was clearly accused of rape and settled out of court and is the cover player, but you do your virtue signaling, right? We're talking about Kobe Bryant, who once again was accused of heinous things, and then obviously has been praised and he was a great basketball player, and blah 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 blah. Blabs, I asked you to do a little research on the Kobe Bryant stuff. Can you walk us through that?
Right. So basically, what happened, without giving into the nitty gritty details, he raped a woman, wouldn't let her leave. So, charged with sexual assault and false imprisonment was the charges. His lawyers attacked the accuser's credibility by pointing out she would have sex with another man in the week before the alleged assault, that she attempted suicide in the past, and that she had been initially excited to meet Kobe. So those are, counters. The accuser chose not to testify at trial, and the criminal charges were dropped, though the two parties later reached an undisclosed settlement in a civil lawsuit. So we don't know any of the money. No figures whatsoever. But then Kobe released a statement. So he says, although I truly believe this encounter between us was consensual, I recognize now that she did not and does not view this incident the same way I did. After months of reviewing discovery, listening to her attorney, and even her testimony in person, I now understand how she feels that she did not consent to this encounter. So that's the full picture of Kobe's trial. And then his wife got a big fat ring.
Right. Pretty much immediately
after. $4 million. Supposedly the value is $4 million.
Right. So once again, those were, can you read his last sentence real quick? I now understand.
I now understand how she feels that she did not consent to this encounter.
Okay.
This is straight from the article from the outline, which is
all right. So this, once again, I mean, like I said, if you're gonna have a stance on something, I think I've been fairly consistent, right? If you're gonna have a bar for something, right? Accusations, right? This person has been accused of whatever it is, right? And you're gonna remove that person, right? Then you should probably have the same bar. I don't know, maybe for the face of your game, right? I'm just throwing it out there. I don't think it's that crazy to say. I really don't. But please tell me I'm wrong. I don't know. I mean,
one thing, I don't disagree with your assessment at all. I do have a question though for you. Is, let's just say hypothetically we continue to go down this path. If somebody has done something, we remove it. I'm not saying I'm justifying that stuff, but like we're it's starting to pick up momentum. Are we ever going to see a point where, oh, this person did something? Like, we even see actors removed from movies and stuff because they've gone on to be, associated with stuff like that.
Sure.
I don't justify anything, but I'm curious to where does it stop? Because eventually we're going to be trying to self-correct or course correct backwards to a point where like you restart essentially.
I agree. I think that, in both situations, you have accusations, and in both situations, you have people saying that it happened, right? Kobe Bryant says it happens, but she has a different, but she said it wasn't consensual. I thought it was, right? And Doc, you're saying it happened, and I messaged it, and I messed up, right? I'd say the biggest differentiator right here is obviously with Doc. Yes, he has, and there's information online that says there's more to this, right? But it hasn't been like vetted and publicly put out. But in this situation, the big sticking point for me is that one word, and it's a major word, minor, right? With Kobe, it wasn't with a minor, it was with an adult. But at the same time, once again, we're still talking about like scummy things and scummy people, right? And I know that people love Kobe Bryant, right? Great basketball player, awesome, still a scummy person. And I think that really kind of comes with, to be great at something, and you hear this all the time, to be exceptional at something, you have to be so arrogant and so full of yourself and so driven at all times to where you just don't think your shit stinks, right? And I think that's what happened to both of these people. I think that's what happened to Kobe Bryant on a much larger level, right? With money, fame, blah, 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 and Dr. Disrespect in the streaming world, where once again, you're talking about a guy who was on top of the world, who I think at a certain point got so into himself that he just didn't think anything he'd ever see his downfall. And ultimately, that's what happened. So, it's a mess, but it goes back to, 2K. Once again, I just think this is like great hypocrisy when it comes to this stuff.
2K has done that again. They took Vince McMahon out of the wrestling game. They'll take people out. Like, I think took Brock Lesnar out. And Brock Lesnar was a legit UFC fighter and all this crap. Right. That's a 2K thing they've been doing lately. That's why I asked you the question, at what point? Because even with the Vince stuff, and again, you can hear my take on the show, they now blur his face out. They act like he just didn't exist anymore. It's kind of a weird world to live in.
Yeah. Just cancel him. It doesn't exist. All his pictures are gone, you know.
Yeah, I agree with Roddy here. It doesn't change the fact that these people did horrible things outside of what made them famous, just that we shouldn't erase history, correct?
There's a lot of actors that I can watch, that I can separate their art from their real life, right? Same with basketball players, same with athletes, same with wrestlers, right? Whatever. Chris Benoit did one of the most heinous things that you could possibly do, right? And you know, most people watching this know what he did, right? Horrible things. But that still doesn't mean he wasn't a great wrestler.
No,
right?
He was one of the best technical of all time, man.
Yep.
Right. And you know, Dr. Disrespect was a phenomenal character, a great streamer, right? One of the best, probably one of the best of all time, right? Literally, you know, trending gamer of the year, whatever, been an awarded character. The character is brilliant, right? Production value, brilliant, way ahead of the curve. Guy Beam, the person who plays it, separate thing, right? Kobe Bryant, phenomenal talent, one of the GOATs of all time, basketball. As a person, you know, right? It goes back to like, you think you know people until you don't. Right. And that's really what it comes down to with this. So
I want to know if over time, if Doc will be able to come back. You think people will be able to move on? I mean, they move on past Kobe Bryant.
But the word Craig said,
I mean, Mike Tyson is like loved, and he did time for sexual assault, right? You know, are people going to be forgiving? Are people going to be able to move on?
It's what Craig said, man. What's the one singular word Craig pointed out? That is sticking.
I get it.
People won't get over. Like, even like I'm watching The Boys for the channel. They're lampooning that kind of stuff. And but it's like people have that issue across the board, and you can't recover from that. That's just the reality of the situation.
I know. I need more information.
Was
it a 12-year-old or was it a 17-year-old? I know there shouldn't be a distinction there.
Yeah, what's the matter?
You know, but
what's wrong is wrong.
Yeah, what's it matter?
You're right.
Yeah, I mean, if it's 17, like the law is still the law. You know, a child.
I still argue like 25-year-old people are kind of stupid. So it's like, you know, like you can vote, you can rent a car, you can do all these things. You have the power to do all this crap. People are still stupid at a later age.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, like, I tell my daughters, you know, I'm like, listen, boys are dumb from the age of like 12 to 30. Like, you're just dumb. And boys are just ridiculous. So like, just keep that in mind as you get older, you know, at a certain point you go, okay, I'm a little bit, but at the same time, boys are always dumb. Boys will always be dumb. And so, you know, it is what it is. So, Blabs, your thoughts? Boys dumb forever?
Oh yeah. Up until maybe 28.
No longer dumb.
They're still dumb at 28.
Man, like college boys, they had the mentality of like a 12-year-old.
We're still dumb at 54. Okay, so
so I got a lot of life to look forward to of being dumb. All right, thanks.
That's right.
That's right. So it's okay. It's okay. And I think that's the most important thing, right? People say like, you know, the people who are defending Doc, are like, well, let's wait till proof. Like, I don't know what more proof than you can have than Dr. Disrespect saying in his own words that he did it, right? Like, I don't understand what more proof that you need. Like, please walk me through that. Like, the guys, if a guy walks in and is like, listen, and someone's like, did you smoke crack? And he's like, yeah, I smoked crack, but it was only a little crack, right? He still smoked crack, and he's telling you he smoked crack. Well, let's wait for the facts. Well, no, he's told you he smoked crack. You know, I don't really know much. Like, please walk me through what more proof you need. I don't think you need more proof. I'm only just saying
I think deep down, people do want to believe the best in other people. And I understand that there's, an allegiance to the character or the streamer. Like, I only know him as whatever they post on IGN or websites. I don't get game streamers. Like, play the game yourself or just don't. Like, that's aside. But I do think some of it comes from people just want to believe the best because they're, you may watch the character. You may go, oh, man, that got me through a hard time. Or you just may like it and you just don't want it to go away or something like that. So that's the only opposition I can guess is people just want to believe in something they like.
You see comments like this. They say, stop virtue signaling. What? Like what do you, once again, I'm lost by your context of virtue signaling at this point. Like you've lost the meaning of the word at that point when you're saying stop virtue signaling, as we're literally just talking about this. We're talking about, I'm fascinated by it. Just amazing. So there we go. All right. So let's move on from that story and I'm sure once again, as more news comes out, once again, there's stuff out there that looks like it could be credible, but we don't know. We don't know yet. So that's why we're not going to talk about it. Apparently, I was reading online, and once again, you take this as a grain of salt. But in the journalist world, right, in the video game journalist world, which, once again, take that as a grain of salt. There are apparently three parts to this story. We've only seen the first part. And people say, well, you gotta vet your sources and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of people are holding off on those stories because they don't want to get sued for libel. I get the idea of making sure you're talking credibly about something. I totally get that. I don't think it takes 4 years to vet those sources. I think that's the big thing. So, all right, let us move on, shall we? Did you guys see the news when it came to Disney? Oh, hold real quick. Hold on. I do want to read some of these super chats. We'll get to Disney in just a second. Let's see. Where are we? Let's see. Let's see. Oh, Miku says, boys may be dumb, but we still got that. Thank you.
Why is she so famous?
Because she's hilarious.
Oh, she is.
Funny. Pretty
Right.
funny.
Remember, Blaz, boys don't grow up. We just grow old.
Yes. I know that every day of my life.
It's true.
That's right. True. Let's see. Ornoke says, what's the shelf life in an allegation without details? Also, if his family has forgiven, who is anyone else to stay upset? I don't think anybody's upset. I'm not upset about this. I'm just talking about it.
I think Jay is in the chat, though.
Okay.
That guy.
Well,
He's pretty adamant.
The only thing I could say to that is maybe people have a hard line stance on a specific thing, and anybody that crosses that line, then they take offense. I'm just trying to throw out stuff to make the show interesting, but that's my guess right off the cuff. People just don't like certain things.
Rusta A.O. says, I want to see the logs of the underage kid admitting they were underage, so there's no reasonable doubt he didn't know at the time. If not that / along that, why did Twitch pay them pay when they didn't need to? Okay, so just to kind of talk about that a little bit more, the reason why you have to think of this from a bigger company perspective. All right, you have to think of it like this. For the same reason that chat came in earlier talking about the idea that there are other creeps on Twitch, right? Mm-hmm. Like if Twitch paid out to protect themselves because they don't want the floodgates to open. Like that's that is a bargain. If they paid Doc out $5 million, whatever, the length of his contract, let's say he had a 15, whatever, that is a bargain for the amount of chaos that would happen if they were to release the logs. If the logs for these whispers, not for Doc, because if you release it for Doc, you got to release it for everybody. That's when the chaos opens up. Because once again, if you don't think there's predators online on Twitch right now, and if you don't think there's kids online right now, as we're talking, with the millions of people that are on that website right now, if you don't think there's not an inappropriate conversation happening literally right now as I'm talking, you're ignorant, right? And that's fine. You can put your head in the sand, but that is the reality of the situation, because there's a lot of creepers out there, and there's a lot of really dumb kids out there, right? And they're getting catfished and back and forth, and that's the reality of the situation. That is why Twitch paid out Doc, because they don't want the whispers released. It'd be horrible for Twitch.
They'd go out of business if that was the case.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately. And you know who else would look bad? Amazon, the owner of Jeff Bezos, right? And once again, it's a small price to pay. That payout was a small price to pay because they know they did wrong too. Going back to the original statement, Doc said no admission of wrongdoing, right? By either party. That's key. That's key. Twitch goes, oh, you didn't do anything, and Doc goes, okay, you didn't do anything either, right? There you go. Rebound says admission of facts does not prove he knew it was a minor beforehand, nor the intent of predating on child. Merely proves it happens. If you want me to condone him in the wood chipper, prove those. Right. I hear that. Right. And I don't not agree with that. The idea that there's still a lot of context associated with this, a lot of context that's missing here. Things that we don't know. Did he know that this person was a minor when he's speaking to them? We don't know. You know, these things are not included. But once again, we're never going to know. We're never going to know. Right. All we can do is take them at their word, both Twitch and Doc. Take Doc at his word, take Twitch at their word, which their word has been nothing so far. So thank you, Rebound. Matthew says, if there's a private chat function for Twitch, I would love to see Pokemane's whispers. I've never trusted that woman, and the vibes I get off of her worries me. Right.
She's ick, yeah. And her chat are ick too. All of it's just ick.
Yeah. James says, you guys fighting for Doc, he laid out the facts. He is likely still legally bounded onto some of this stuff. You can only take what he stated, nothing more, nothing less. Everything else is speculation. Right. And that's the other thing. Like, if you don't think that his statement was thoroughly brushed through by a lawyer before it was released, I mean, dude.
And I'm not sitting here fighting for Doc. I just need more information before I can condemn the guy to a lifetime of not being able to do what he likes to do anymore. I don't know. It just seems like shitty things happened on every side here. It's just the whole situation is bad. So
yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people who are weighing into this, and then there's other streamers out there who have done far worse things, right? And we never hear about it or anything. So I feel like it needs to be like a balance of justice also. Like, you got to weigh the scales and everything, the crimes comparison and everything. I think this is all a lot. So I know that was pretty worded shitty, but like, we don't really. Yeah, thanks, Jeff. I feel like we definitely need we need more equality here when it comes to the justice system. I don't see like some of these things are going underneath the rugs, all these grapes, these things, right? And Docs is just getting absolutely railroaded by everybody, and we don't even have all the facts yet, which is true. We don't.
And once again, the reality is that we'll never have the facts. We won't. Like, there are legal documents, right? I guarantee, 99% guarantee that as part of their settlement, those whispers are legally bound to never be released. I guarantee that, right? If it wasn't, Doc has a horrible lawyer, and Twitch has a horrible lawyer. Twitch has horrible lawyers, right?
Eric says this pretty eloquently. Don't get it twisted. Waiting for more evidence isn't a defense of Doc and what he did. No. It's a defense of the principle of innocent until proven guilty, which our nation's laws are founded on. And Doc lives in California, so America.
Right.
Yeah. Well, California.
I mean, legally speaking, it is the U.S.
I'm glad I left.
How's California's legal system, Jeff? That was all about.
I never had any issues with their legal system, but I'm glad I don't have to deal with their other stuff.
Yeah.
They want to tax you for leaving in the future? No thanks.
Awesome. Matthew says, I believe a lot of the creeps on Twitch are female. I think and Melanie said this as well. And I don't disagree with this, right? Like Twitch needs to clean house. Their reputation has been a slow, and for the record, kicked us too, right? Because what we're seeing, this idea of leveraging Twitch as a funnel to funnel from the free content to the salty content, right? And the dirty stuff over on OF, right? Like there's definitely a pipeline when it comes to this stuff. And if you don't think that's like some of these girls, right, that are doing this are not having spicy private conversations with some of their potential customers. Hey baby, how you doing? You know, I'd love to show you this. I'll come on over. You know, by the way, here's a discount code for a free whatever, right? If you don't think that's not happening, I mean, come on. It's just like it's like a hooker talking to her potential market. You know,
it's not just Twitch. That is everywhere. Kick, YouTube, but it's on Rumbles and Locals as well. OnlyFans, all these other services that are similar to OnlyFans. So it's not just a Twitch thing. It's basically it's like a morality thing of the world. But the thing is, this stuff makes money, and these companies are a business. So,
yep.
Money versus morals.
Bingo.
Certainly Up Strife says, I feel people are holding on the chat logs, which won't happen. Plus, supposedly PD, I guess, checked over the logs and saw nothing. Plus, people are going on the worst case of it. Still don't agree with what Doc did and should have known better. Now, once again, allegedly, well, I guess, I don't know. Once again, there's that, like, he admitted it. Right. He said these conversations did happen and that they could be seen as inappropriate. And, I was trying to explain this to somebody yesterday. Right. There's a lot of gray when it comes to this. The idea that, he said in a statement, things could be seen as inappropriate. Right. In these conversations. Hawk Tua has been brought up several times. Right. That is a sexual thing, a sexual meme. Right. What is she talking about? All right, we all get it, right? Let's just say hypothetically, like, did Doc share something? Like, if Doc was to share, or streamer A was to share that with fan who DM'd them, hey, did you see this? This was pretty funny, right? Could that be seen as sexual in nature, right? Or was it, hey, let me see that, whatever, right? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of gray in there, So, and once again, we'll never know. Jess says, I think it's reasonable to assume that if he didn't know her age and stopped once he found out, that he would have made that clear in the statement. I don't disagree with you on that. I think that any lawyer would have 100% made sure that was in there for sure. Nathan says, all I'm hearing is these Twitch whispers need to be released immediately. That is not a can that you can kick down the road thanks to the Twitch employee. No, that can's never going to be kicked or opened. I mean, it's going to be punted down the road, but it'll never be opened. I do not see any space where Twitch releases those logs. I think it'd be a mess. And Dave says, so which is worse, having a bad conversation with a minor or restraining by force a woman in a hotel room and having sex by force or intimidation? Right.
I would have to say it depends on the conversation. What is a bad conversation?
Right.
That's the definition there.
I would say that Kobe Bryant is idolized when and he's done some pretty heinous things. That's what I would say to that.
Right. I agree.
Admittedly. So Potato Radio says legal mindset said Twitch by allowing minor to whisper like a minor in a bar might be on the hook. FYI, Altic has a 4.5 hour. Okay. All right. Thank you, Potato Radio. And Kratos says, there's too much gray area. If a 17-year-old sends you a $50 and you respond with a jiggle vid, it can be taken the way worse out of context. Right. Now, 100%. Right. And Kratos is correct. Like, there's just so much here that is, it's crazy to talk about. It really is. And once again, if they release a part 2 to this or a part 3, as has been talked about, the levels of craziness could go off the rail. I was hoping the story, not
it's
necessarily.
Not gonna die.
What's that?
said this story's not going anywhere for a while.
Right. I mean, we're talking about, one of the biggest streamers in history, more or less having their career poofed out of nowhere. Right. So, yeah, it is messy. All right, let's slowly.
Well, before we move on, because chat's roasting me on my thing. All I said was, what is the context of a bad conversation? Because obviously, rape is horrible. It's probably one of the worst things you could ever do, obviously, besides murder. So, but I think they're both awful, right? I would need to know what is a bad conversation. If it's not even like, what is your bad conversation, right? I can't say which is worse. I think they're both awful, but what is a bad conversation? Okay,
I just have one question to ask. Like, let's say they're both considered illegal in the eyes of the law. Does a crime actually wipe out another crime, or do both people need to pay for the crime because they both did something wrong, and you can't really equate the two because they both did something messed up? Like, that's what I'm asking. Like, I don't think any of them balance out. Do you?
No, I don't think so.
I'm trying to walk through this, right? I think that I don't think words are violence, right? Personally.
Right.
Agreed.
But I do think that it depends on, I think that you can verbally assault somebody, if that makes sense. Right. I think there's a difference between the two. Right. I can go into somebody and go on a rant and verbally assault them, but I don't think that's violence, if that makes sense.
I agree.
And yeah, I think there is context. Like, is that inappropriate conversation that you're talking about, or that conversation that was provided in that example? Was it illegal? Was there, they're both crimes. If they're both crimes in the eyes of the law, then they're both crimes, and it's kind of moot at that point, right? So yeah, that's kind of where it is. So, all right, you got anything else, Blabs?
No, I see the chat liking to twist my words, but they can do what they like. That's cool.
They'll do that.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Taki says the minor probably got money and an NDA. Well, here's the thing: the minor can't sign an NDA. They're a minor. You have to be able to sign. For you to get an NDA, you have to be a legal adult for that to happen, or have somebody be able to sign that for you to represent you. So that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But I'll tell you what does make sense is Ian coming in with 10 gifted memberships. Let's stamp and go, Ian. Thank you very much for your support today. Genuinely appreciate that. Let's go with, I'll tell you what, Dutch, you get to pick the color today. What are we going with on the wall?
Green.
Green it is. Yeah, we definitely use some more green there. All right, thank you. Ian, thank you very much for your support. If you guys got gifted a membership, make sure you guys say thanks to Ian right there. Consider paying it forward. Love that. All right, we got a lot to get to. And Dan, that's a good question. So just curious, would you still feel as strongly if the genders were reversed? If a girl was talking to a boy, yes, I think we just talked about that there are a lot of creeper women on Twitch.
And a lot of them are getting away with it. Like, a lot more women get away with a lot more crimes because of the whole Me Too thing and everything. So if anything, they should have the spotlight shine more on them if they're doing heinous acts and crimes. It should be like, look, a woman is capable of doing something just as equally bad as a man is capable of doing something. And we don't really have that anymore. So
John points out the obvious. DSP outlives another streamer.
I thought of that too. It's funny, huh?
Scarfy says, Haktua is proof the internet is dumb. Doesn't mean it's not funny.
It's pretty funny.
Black and Mild says, Kendrick going to release a Doc diss song next. Hey, I don't know if you guys saw, there actually was an AI generated Doc diss song that was released. Did you guys want to hear this or not?
Yeah, sure.
Actually, I'm sorry, it wasn't an AI generated diss song. It was actually a real quote unquote diss song. Let me see if I can. Here we go. It's a diss track. Once again, I want to point out this is for entertainment value only. Let's go check this out. And but there are some pretty sick burns in this. Here we go. This is from Pack God.
Hey, Hey, disrespecting kids up on the beat. Oh, beat those trying to fit plans for them seats. Grow 42-year-old man steady acting like a freak. Coat age a consent. You was operating beat low. The 2-time bag to bag. And now we smoking on your pad. Tell me how you is a dad, but you act like mini lad. Now you going on vacation cause you trying to flee the nation. You was acting hella flagrant. You another desperation. With your wife got no relations. You done fucked up got a faces. And the whispers in your basement. Think your brain need a replacement. You the doctor obsessing over a kid like Mr. Crocker. Should have blocked her, but instead you turned into a disco model. As a father, tell me how you would have felt that was your daughter. Caught you where you don't belong, like from Among Us. You the imposter gaining sympathy on Twitter, but that shit was just a fail. Only map you'll be designing is that of your local jail. Someone call him CPS and get him right up on his tail. Get in touchy with your words, and I ain't talking about no braille. That's all God. Got a bulletproof vest, but you ain't ready for these shots. All these holes in your story like a fish pair of Crocs. You invested in these miners like some S&P stocks, and you cheated on your wife with that kid on Roblox. Stop thinking with your head, only thinking with your crotch. You don't use dating apps, you use the comments on TikTok. 6 foot 8, you try to find a jack to climb up your beat stock. Hey, thought you needed to stop. Hey, thought you needed 7 years to own up to it. Got exposed, so now you do it. Why you have to go pursue it? Had it all and then you blew it. Hey, 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 he a freak, he a what? He a freak, he a freaky ass streamer, he a Twitch whisper god. Freaky ass streamer, he a Twitch whisper god. Hey, 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 run for your life. Hey, 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 hey. Okay, let me hear you say Dr. D. Dr. D. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Dr. D. Dr. D. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Hey, okay.
Jesus.
I would like Craig to apologize to all of us for making us listen to this. That was awful. That was 1 minute and 45 seconds that I will never get back.
Hey,
What the hell?
the point is the internet gonna internet, right? And that's what the internet do, right? Like what do you expect from the internet? What do you expect? That's exactly what you expect.
I'm sorry, chat, on behalf of side scrollers.
Don't apologize. Never apologize.
That was shit, man. My ears hurt.
don't bend the knee. Don't bend the knee, Blab.
I'm not bending the knee. They're definitely owed an apology for that one. That was terrible.
I would listen. All I'm doing is presenting what the internet did. That's it. It's up for the audience to decide if they like it.
I agree with Ron. He says rip brain.
There you go. But like I said, it was for entertainment value only. And if you didn't find entertainment on it, that's fine. That's cool. That's cool. Whatever. Autistic Accountant says, I may get a lot of flack for this, but as a survivor, I have to say rape is way worse than murder. You're forcing the worst trauma onto another person, whereas a murder is an end.
That is a fair point.
I appreciate your perspective on that, Autistic Accountant, for sure. Kratos says, wait, has the gender of the person involved with Doc been confirmed? Glad I can finally catch a show live. Kratos, no. That's the other thing. But at the end of the day,
Nope.
Yeah, it is what it is. So, all right, let's move on. You guys want to? Oh, man, we went way longer than I thought we would. Let's do some quick Star Wars stuff. You guys are
Star Wars.
You guys know your Star Wars. I don't know Star Wars. That's fine.
What is Star Wars, Craig?
What's that?
I said, what is Star Wars, Craig? What I'm watching isn't Star Wars.
Right.
No. But this is very un-Disney of Disney for doing this. And that Disney is a very, obviously extremely woke company. They're all about equal rights. They want everybody to be on the same level field. Yet, according to this Forbes article, Disney forced to reveal unequal pay on the Star Wars show, The Acolyte. This is shocking. And who made less money, Blabs?
The lemon.
Oh, wow.
By 19.4%.
Wow, that's
almost 20% lower.
Wow.
So the women in Disney, who is the virtue signal of all virtue signal, came out, and they are paying women 20% less hourly. Seems almost hypocritical, if you would. It's crazy. Color, yeah, as Scumbucket says over on Earnable, color me surprised. There we go. Are any of you shocked by the virtue signaling fail from Disney at this point?
Dude, I've been talking about Disney and Star Wars and other related stuff on YouTube for like 8 years. Nothing that ever comes out surprises me. Now, I did make a video about this, and the way it's worded, it talks about jobs in these bands, like higher tier, middle tier, lower tier, but they don't actually describe what jobs are in each band of payment. So I wonder if this is one of those situations, like if we actually saw the numbers, it would be like, two people at the middle level is like one position and another position. I'm not surprised, but I also want to see more before like I actually think it's what people are saying. I'm never surprised with Disney, but they're always going to go where the money is first. So what I guess I'm trying to get at is don't put faith in Disney that they have your best interest or anybody's best interest at heart because they're the happiest place on earth. We know how they operate, and that's not a surprise to anybody.
We're talking about the Acolyte here, right? Is that show 90% women anyway? So the two guys on the show are making more?
Well, this is about the production stuff. This isn't about any of the actors. This is talking about like the grips and this and that. And they even talk about how they're not even 50% women on the job. Like it's not a 50-50 split. Yeah, because we're not talking about like
I imagine most of those people back there are probably longtime male employees, right? That they'll probably have worked on many, many different projects for Disney. I'm sure the cameraman or the computer technician or whatever doesn't sit back there and just work on Star Wars. He probably works on Marvel stuff and Star Wars stuff, or maybe not. I don't know. I don't know how the industry works.
I think it was remember they shot this
union
in the
stuff,
UK,
right?
And so I think that might be UK union people working on these shows.
Well,
and we've even with the history of Star Wars, the UK unions and Star Wars definitely have always butted heads. Like Gil Taylor on the original film didn't see eye to eye with George Lucas. I think it might be a situation of, how the business of the UK runs versus how we do things in the US. And I do think it's people trying to like twist it to make, more out of it.
Right.
Well, let's so there's more to this. I like I said, I haven't watched any of the Acolyte. I know you guys have. Okay.
I'm forcefully being forced to watch it. I'm not happy about it, but
nor am I.
It's been really amazing to see how some people have really praised this show, and some people are just not in line with whatever's being thrown down at all. Right? I've seen everyone's favorite Kotaku blogger, Alyssa McCarthy, is like, Acolyte's the shit. It's the best, right? But then you see people who are like, man, this show is the worst thing ever. Jeff, you're like, this show sucks, right?
It does.
Where's the disconnect there? Why is there such a disconnect between the two audiences?
Politics. It's literally that. I'm not trying to go down that path. I know today's a very special day, but it's literally politics. That is the only reason you have some people praise this show and other people not praise it. Now, on top of that, I'm on the side of the show is actually crap quality. I don't care that there are women and black people and all this stuff. But what I do care about is when people that make these shows put their own personal life stories into Star Wars and then kind of throw the rest out. I don't care about the lady's sister. I don't care about her relationships. I care about Star Wars or what it should be, not this venting session for Leslie Headland.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a scene that came out. So the two main characters in this are played by the same lady. This is the lady of the Oppression Olympics that we saw put together the rap last week that we got flagged on because she was so oppressed that she went flagging people who were reacting to her content. To her wonderful top tier rap, by the way, amazing stuff. Maybe better than the Dr. Disrespect rap we just saw a minute ago. Maybe, we'll see. But there was a scene where the two characters that she plays, May and Osha, is that correct? Were in a fight. They're sisters. Yep. Kind of set this up for me really quick. What just happened in this?
Okay, so the last 3 episodes are about getting to this planet Kofar where a Wookiee Jedi lives. The evil sister, May, she is working with this Sith Lord to go kill a specific amount of Jedi who she believe are responsible for the separation of her sister. And so there's a fight between one Sith and a million Jedi, and the May and Osha characters run off, and then it's just the two of them, and the one force pushes the other one. She falls down and gets a concussion, I guess, and she switches costumes with her, and then to make sure that the transformation's complete, because the only difference between them is a head tattoo and longer dreads, she pulls out her lightsaber and leans over and cuts the dreads off, and then the characters are too stupid to notice the difference, so they just switch places and nobody says anything.
Hang on,
it's very dramatic.
So you're telling me that one sister physically assaults the other one, takes their clothes, leaving her naked?
Yeah, well, she puts her clothes back on her off screen.
Yeah, they like switch outfits.
That is some serious assault there, Disney.
Yeah,
You're like stripping somebody without their consent.
Well,
But
here's
also,
the
how do you
scene.
not see a tattoo on someone's head? Just saying.
Yeah, I find it more interesting that these two twin sisters who haven't seen each other since they were 10 years old have the exact same hairstyle and haircut, except for the length here. So
Plot hole.
So here's the scene where she cuts her hair. Right here, she goes through and slices and off.
Oh,
She's
man.
liberated with her hair just flying off. Right there with that wonderful. It's like, yes, I am alive. Look, like
such a great edit. It's
extremely overacted right there. So there's that, and but then we saw this cut earlier. This is a fan cut of what actually would happen in that situation. Let's see this.
Oh.
I mean, it's
Wow.
true. Her face would be off right now.
Just straight up slices off right there. It's been amazing. I don't, like I said, this whole thing with Acolyte is so fascinating to watch from outside. And Jeff, you put it really well. Like, how is this? Why are some people praising this show while other people are just throwing it in a ditch, right? And I like, as you guys have been Star Wars fans your entire life, right?
Mm-hmm.
How does it make you feel to see something like this just change in such a dramatic way, to where you can't even recognize it?
Well,
yeah, it's pretty ugly. It's pretty ugly.
All I would say is, years ago when they announced that Disney bought it and they said there's a new movie, I went, well, Han Solo's going to die because Harrison Ford hates this. So for me, I just have watched. It's like in John Wick 4, he keeps falling down the stairs at the end of the movie. That's kind of how it's been for Star Wars, or with Star Wars for me for so long, where it's just like, it just keeps falling down. And I'm never surprised at how we get here. Cause I'm on the inside of this stuff. 2 or 3 years ago, an Obi-Wan show came out and we had the same people defend Reva, the third sister, because all this and that, and people are bigoted and racist. She can't act. On the other side of the coin isn't she's a certain color, she shouldn't be in Star Wars. It's this woman can't act. This character is poorly written. Why does she get away? Because X, Y, and Z. That's what every show, the criticisms and complaints are, but Disney keeps forcing the same crap down our throats, and everybody fights back, but then they have to come up with a more extreme phrase to try to shut people up. And with the Acolyte, people have had enough, and they are vicious. Star Wars isn't dead completely, but it's like one beep away from
it's on life support, and it hasn't been good for a long time. I realized a couple of years ago that I'm just not a Star Wars fan anymore, and it sucks. My buddy Tom, who's a fill-in on our podcast once in a while, he pointed out to me, he goes, would you go to a restaurant, if you go to a restaurant 10 times and you have good service twice out of those 10 times, why do you keep going back? You know what I'm saying? And to me, there's really two good Star Wars movies. It's the first one, Star Wars, and the second one, Empire Strikes Back. The rest of them all kind of suck, or they do suck, or they kind of suck. So it took me a very long time to just make that mark go around through my head, and I just what, he's right. I'm not a Star Wars fan anymore. It is just Disney has taken this thing that we all loved from our childhood, and they've just destroyed it with their nonsense. And I'm just apathetic anymore. I don't care about Star Wars, and I don't have any desire to watch new movies or watch these new shows. But we're all do this YouTube thing. We all do podcast stuff. We kind of have to watch these things.
It's work.
I can't. It's work. That's it. I can't discuss something without seeing it. You know what I'm saying? So
that's why I respect what you guys are doing, because you have to have context. You can't just cash in on the outrage and be oblivious and ignorant.
Right. I watched so much crap from Disney's and Marvel and Lucasfilm Studios in the last few years. It hurts.
Well, it does hurt, and I from my point of view, it's like, why would you still do that outside of work? Right. I don't really have faith in anything new Star Wars, because I even had this realization on the show last week. I love that first movie in Empire Strikes Back. but I really like Harrison Ford as an actor. And so Han Solo is my anchor to Star Wars. And as we get more and more Jedi focused, or, you know, all these stupid characters, everything in Star Wars isn't about Jedis and lightsabers and dark and light. There's a whole space war and spaceships and all these other elements to Star Wars that are gone because they want to keep telling the same story. And as a creator myself, I roll my eyes because it's like, look, why do you keep telling the same crap? And why is it you have to deconstruct, you know, the Jedi, and you got to deconstruct iconic characters? It really is a problem with entertainment. You got a lot of people that work on these shows that get there for the wrong reasons. You know, you can have all the speculation about Leslie Headland. I've thought about those things too myself. We're not too dissimilar out there. But at the end of the day, you just get people that don't know how to make the thing work that they're in charge of. You can blame the woman at the top, but everyone beneath her is just bad at their job. And there's just, the reason Star Wars fans are so vocal is everything outside of maybe a season and a half of The Mandalorian has been crap. It started with The Force Awakens, which sucks. I'm sorry if you like that one, but it's a garbage movie. And then Last Jedi's bad. Rise of Skywalker's bad. Rogue One is fine enough, but you forget that it exists.
Agreed.
But Solo, a Star Wars story, I can eat one. Like everything in their shows, man. Obi-Wan is crap. The Book of Boba Fett might be the worst thing ever, but then there's the Acolyte. Where do you put something like Andor? I think Andor is the most overrated thing they've ever put on the platform. Is it entertaining? Yeah, but people think because it's a somber look at the emotional impacts of war. That's not what Star Wars is about. It's a fun space epic. We keep treating it like it's a religious thing because the Jedi are like monks, and there's a lot of people that believe in the Force and all that crap. It's a space movie about war. Stop turning it into this pious bull crap. I think everybody involved with Star Wars sucks. Outside of Favreau for like a year, that was it. But Dave Filoni and all these people that fans put their hope into, guys, no, they're not the right people. Even George Lucas himself hasn't been the right person in decades. Like you said, Dutch, Star Wars is 2 great movies. Return of the Jedi is fine. And everything else is just kind of like a downward slope, except Revenge of the Sith. That's a nice hump. That one's solid in my book.
So we actually have an update on how Acolyte should have ended, thanks to 1-800-DANKY. Danky, the meme lord, has put together this. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but this is a nice little animation that Danky put together.
Yes!
There you go. Thank you, Danky, for your hard work and effort right there. That's great stuff.
I will give this last episode of The Acolyte a little bit of credit because there was some cool lightsaber fighting going on.
That Sith guy was the best lightsaber duel.
And they did manage to actually kill some people by, you know, skewering them with some lightsabers. Which was cool, you know, but
why do they only kill pointless characters? There is never any emotional weight to these, like, oh, these new ones that everybody likes. They don't ever kill them off to add depth to the story. They'll just kill off the crappy ones.
I think my favorite thing about this show so far is we've had close to 2 years of somewhat hype coming out about this show, right? Since a Celebration came out. What was that, 2 years ago now?
Yep.
And you know, it's like, oh, there's gonna be a Wookiee Jedi and all this kind of stuff, and everybody's pumped and excited, and they kill him off screen after he's been on the show for like 45 seconds total. And I'm like, oh my
Craig,
God.
I just want to tell you this about the Acolyte because you might not get this from other news sources. Every episode they're trying to build on this mystery and they keep tripping over themselves. It's like, which twin did the murder? Wait, there's twin. Like, they're trying to build it up, all this stuff to make it seem mysterious and deep and intriguing. We called the plot twist in the first episode. We were, you know, not
literally the Parent Trap for Star Wars is what
it is, and it's so. I get it that you want to make Star Wars appeal to women, but women like science fiction already. And Star Wars makes billions of dollars. It's silly to think that only dudes are buying the movies or going like there. It's not all men that are dragging their wives and girlfriends or other friends to go see a movie. Like when that movie made $2 billion, The Force Awakens, there were tons of women that went and saw it because they liked Star Wars too. It was already the biggest thing. You screwed it up by trying to make it appeal to more people. Like, I don't get how you fuck it up so hard. Sorry.
All right. Real quick, I actually have an update on the Punisher story from earlier. So this is actually kind of interesting. The editing of the arcade game, and this is from Day One Patch Kids. It makes you guys follow them over on X. They DM me with this, and actually I think they're onto something here. talking about the difference. We were talking about the idea of possibly editing out the Twin Towers at the end of the game. And he pointed out there's actually another difference, actually a scene difference between the Punisher arcade Japanese game and the English release. Now, I want to show you this right here. This was at the tail end of it. I'm going to just kind of scrub through. They're on their way out, and it's given the backstory of it. You can see they get in the car, they go. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. But as you're going along, then it goes to in the American version, it goes to a black screen that says, the next morning, the police searched through the rubble of the King building. They found over 296 ex-criminals, but they couldn't find the body of the that could be identified as the kingpin. In the Japanese version of it, it goes through and they leave and they go, and then it shows where they're going, and as they make their way through past they leave and it goes to black, but then it comes back in it and over that same text in Japanese, it has criminals being dragged out by police officers and people getting rounded up.
They removed the police brutality.
Right. But what's interesting about this is that this was in the Japanese version initially, not in the American version initially. So they're bringing the Japanese version to what the American version initially was. So small change, interesting change, but it's also something that has been there for, at least from the American version for, 30 years since the game was released. I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts on that? Any thoughts?
Well, it kind of goes back to the whole conversation about localization in video games in general. Like, and honestly, anything. You can even use the Star Wars movies. It's like, what is the actual original version? If you have multiple versions that come out at the same time, you really don't have an original version to release. Like even Star Wars, the home video release that everybody clamors for isn't the original release. It's the 70 millimeter audio and other stuff that you're not taking into account. And with this, it's like, you buy an old video game and there's religious imagery, but they took it out in the 80s, but then they bring it back. Like it's kind of a weird thing to be a part of. If that makes sense.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate the follow-up on that, Day One Patch Kids. Thanks for sending that over. That's great stuff. All right. We got a lot of support today, and you guys have been very into what we've been throwing down today, both in a positive and a negative way. And you know what? We appreciate all your perspectives. I think that's the thing. We're not going to shame you for thinking one way or the other way, and we hope you don't do the same to us. Now, some people naturally will, and that's fine. But we encourage all discourse on the show. But I would like to point out that Halves came in with 10 gifted memberships to the channel. Thank you guys very much. If you got gifted a membership, make sure you say thanks to Halves for that wonderful 10 right there. And also, Jesus came in and gifted a membership as well. It's probably Jesus, but thank you very much for that, Jesus. We appreciate you and your support right there. Also,
nice mask.
Yeah. Saturn Dreaming of Mercury says, sorry, but pushback. If rape is worse than murder, why are there countless stories in true crime about victims of the former who also fought to survive the latter and are thankful for their survival, even if they must deal with the lingering trauma? Like that's a conversation that I honestly, I'm not capable of having, to be totally honest.
That's also just based on personal opinions too.
Yeah, for sure.
To each their own. No one has the wrong opinion, right?
Right.
They're both bad.
Yep.
Sometimes they do. Miku says, Chugga Conroy, Pro Jared Depp, now this, wait for it. Well, we'll see. Or just this, wait for intro. Right. And like I said, all we can go off is, speaking of the Dr. Disrespect stuff, we're just going off the information that's at hand right now, All right, Blabs, give us some super chats here. I'll start with Adam.
All right. Adam says, hey, everyone. Hey. Mastagawa says, even video games have gotten worse under Brandon. Josh says, thanks for cheering me up today, guys. Recovering after putting down my bird after she got attacked by another bird we owned. Rest in peace, Adrian. I'm sorry about your bird.
Sorry to hear that, man.
That's terrible. Big hugs. Minnie Mindus says, but she is a witch. How can she be a pal about Hillary Clinton? Tim says, we need more comedies, a lot of them. Cheap to make, easy to make decent profits, and we can all use more laughs.
I agree completely. Yes.
James says, my wife is not on the internet at all. She's seen the new Despicable Me and said at least they did not make the minions gay yet. So, that's awesome. Gay minions. Lord J says, why would they go with Crooked Hillary when Terry Crews is right there? Thanks.
Yeah.
Hypnotic says, read the super suspect Twitch terms on service on his stream, allowing teenagers to stream and 17 years old to use whispers. Twitch is liable. Huh. Okay, well, thanks for that. Stay-at-home Hippo says, Sweet Baby Inc. has wizards as client. They have been adding DEI to the game for years. Half orcs and half elves removed because half races is racist. Yes.
I guess I don't fucking exist. Okay.
You're a racist being, Jeff, for existing.
I haven't played Dungeons and Dragons since 2nd edition, so I'm glad I quit.
Yep.
Back in the day.
Snotlip says the past was erased, the erasure was forgotten, the lie became the truth. George Orwell, 1984. Yep.
Listen to that again.
I can't read that, but thank you for being a member for 2 months. It says Nintendo thinks DK is a premium IP thanks to the DK being in the Mario movie. Metroid doesn't move as many units. Nintendo sees it as a B-tier franchise. Thank you for that.
Fair.
Tommy says, Hail Side Scrollers and Jeff and Matt. The only release remastered I got excited for is GOG's Resident Evil collection. The RE1 is the Windows 95 version, etc. Thank you, Tommy.
Great icon, by the way.
Matthew says, I think Retro Studios remastered Metroid Prime as a demonstration so they could take over development for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. It was already done. Thank you, Matthew. Cryptic says, he can get enough of that game, I guess. Gundam says, waiting for sale is the reason we don't get sequels sometimes. True. Matthew comes back and says Nintendo may have contracted with a third-party company to remaster Donkey Kong Country Returns, so they had to make their money back.
That's true. That's true. Very true.
Straight says, do not look up the new Doc allegations. Like
I said, you can find anybody making allegations about everything. It's like the reason why it's worth talking about is because Doc responded to it, and we talked about it previously. But Doc going in and responding, that's why the story continues to linger here, and some of the giant holes that he had in his statement.
Miku says he said he had small people. Shame for this spray.
You mean shame small peepee? Thank you, Miku.
Isn't that what I just said?
You said people.
Oh. Oops. Rebound says EVE Online Corpo war stories are pretty wild too. They'd cut power in the home of capital ship pilots just to prevent them from flying their ship. Thank you, Rebound.
Hey, real quick, before we wrap, by the way, after the support, I do actually have some breaking news, which I'd like to share with you guys.
Okay.
We'll get to that in just a minute.
Okay. Chris says, not on the same level. Oh, did I read this? No, I didn't. Not on the same level, but EVE Online has some wild stories of rival clans cutting power from people's houses IRL during in-game battles to gain an edge. Yes, thank you, Chris. Daniel says, just so you guys know, some games on the Xbox 360 marketplace are only there and nowhere else. You aren't going to find many games elsewhere. Buy and update all the games you can before July 29th. Thank you very much. Dave says, the question about DD was the conversation salacious or overtly sexual? Good questions. Enrique says, Jeff, HHHN will have a Ghostbusters maze this year. Oh, Halloween Horror Nights. Yes, I just saw the email about that. Ghostbusters.
I might fly out west to go to the LA park because I used to have a pass there. So their Horror Nights is awesome.
Yeah, but isn't the Florida park just 10 times better? Wouldn't you just rather go there?
I went last year, though.
Oh, okay.
And the one out west has Nintendo World, so I can kind of hit. I've already been there once, but it's that cool.
The Villain says the real question here is, will YouTube ban the Doc? We all saw what happened to EDP 445. If YouTube bans Doc, he's not coming back. Excellent questions.
He'll find a home somewhere.
Kick some probably. Nathan says the Acolyte is a mess, much like Harvey's casting couch.
Oh, gross.
Tommy reviews. Also, GOG's REOC port is the 1999 PC port. Thank you, Tommy. Mao says, so many stories you can tell that aren't just the Force, light side, dark side, and lightsabers. There's a whole war. Andors and Star Wars. Sorry, Jeff.
It's okay. Star Wars.
Here comes the Star Wars shills. Here they come.
Yeah.
Look out.
Bring them.
Andrew says, hi, all. They're editing other games on the collection, specifically MVC1's Bathhouse Stage. Not sure what.
Oh, really? Interesting. Thanks for that.
Cuddy says, in other news, DEI firms think of Donkey from Shrek.
Thinks of Donkey from Shrek. That's funny. Okay. Thanks, Cuddy.
Double Hawk says, Steam summer sales upon us. Praise Gaben. But thank you. Gaben. Stay-at-home Hippo finishes off and says, also wanted to add, current D&D have bad-mouthed Gary Gygax and OG creators on the game's anniversary. WOTC has been trying to erase history.
It's true.
Wizards of the Coast, yeah.
Hail Gary Gygax, the founder, the creator.
Marmalin came in and says, timeline matters. 2017, Doc is an ass. 2020, remove Doc. 2021, Doc sues and wins. Now, to be clear, he didn't sue and win. It was a settlement. There's a big difference between the two. Like taking somebody, and that context matters in that as well. He didn't sue. There was a settlement. Massive difference. But he continues. 2022, Twitch disables whispers. Twitch is the bigger story here. I do 100% agree with that. Twitch is the bigger story here. Lone Wolf came in, says, should have had the team that designed Eve from Stellar Blade do the design from Lara Croft. Thank you. Lara Croft. And Mimic Liv says, I wouldn't be surprised if Freaky Freddy 2 has a dude and a girl swap bodies, and they realize they were always in the wrong body all along. They decided to stay in their gender swap bodies. There we go. Thank you for that. Chaotic Frosty picked up the American Pride t-shirt. Thank you so much for doing so. That's awesome. Kalichi came in and said, Yellow Flash mentioned that too about the Wii. What is shovelware? Shovelware is just games that are shoveled out quickly to make a quick buck. That's it. 90 Dragoons came in with a $15 direct donation. Thank you so much, 90 Dragoons. Says, in the case of plenty of even the best retro games, old glitches / bugs can be patched. That's fine. But in no circumstances do I want to change art or gameplay. All hardware fades eventually, which is why it's our obligation to keep data as original as possible. Thank you very much for that. I am the Icarus says, regarding Chris Benoit, at a certain point, you have to be able to separate art from the artist. If you can't have a problem with things artists have done, then go burn literally all your records, movies, and video games. No one is perfect.
Right.
Yeah. Mercenary came in and said, I was talking about, I was like, please do not donate because, you make, and he said, sorry, but I have to for my psychological health. At the very least, I can afford the dollars. At the end of the day, it's about managing your money. I'll say this much about it. I lost weight, not eating as much. Really, FJB. There we go. All right. And so I did say I had a story to finish up, a real quick hit here. I just saw this over on X as our boy Smash JT found that Geo Media, the parent company of Kotaku, is actually hiring an editor-in-chief to lead them. But as he points out, then again, Geo Media is deeply committed to fostering a transparent, inclusive workplace environment of people of color, women, people, disabilities, veterans, and LGBTQIA+ candidates, and are very strongly encouraged to apply. Right? I would say I qualify for all of these things. At this point, I should definitely maybe apply. Do you think I should apply? Should I apply for the editor-in-chief job?
I would kind of like to do it, but there's no place on there for Caucasian potato-shaped dudes who wear dumb
well,
hats.
Craig, you're my favorite woman of color, so I think you're going to get this job right away.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Woman, lesbian of color.
Sorry,
right.
I misspoke.
I thank you for now. There is one other aspect to this, which is just still. I what year are we in? What are we doing here? It's their vaccination policy. The company is committed to public health and to the safety of well-being of our colleagues, visitors, and volunteers. As such, we have adopted a policy requiring all employees to be vaccinated against COVID-19 or to meet the legal guidelines for an exemption. This is 2024. Yeah. We're midway through the year and we're still talking about this. And by the way, and just a logical, what does vaccinated against, like, how many do you have to have? All the boosters? Do you have to have none of the boosters? Do you have to get like?
You got to have your bingo card completely filled up.
Yeah, there's like 20 of them or something, isn't there? How much? Like, do you collect booster shots? I don't know.
Get your punch card, fill it all out. You know, I'm just saying, like, and do you have to be fully vaccinated? These are all questions that nobody can seem to answer in the year 2024.
Why is Kotaku even still a thing?
Oh, it won't be.
That's what I want to know.
No,
it's crazy.
Man, it won't be. Yeah, but maybe I will. Maybe I will apply for this. I think I will today. Labs, maybe Side Scrolls will be the official podcast of Kotaku. We'll see.
No thanks.
Well, this was fun being on your show.
Yeah.
Overruled. No.
All right. There you go. Bush and Ryu Cat says, what you think of Here trailer with Tom Hanks? DA. I haven't seen that trailer yet. I haven't
seen it.
Here.
It looks kind of sappy, and I'm a Robert Zemeckis fan of Back to the Future. His other movies are quality, but they're not my cup of tea, so I won't see this.
He's been de-aged. Real quick, let's just I want to do a quick glance at what he looks like de-aged, because he's a big fan. I was a big fan of him in Big.
He looks kind of like that.
He does kind of look like that. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do a couple screenshots of this. This is kind of interesting. Not seen this yet. Let's see. Here he is de-aged. It looks like here. And has she been de-aged too? Oh, that looks total AI. That's total AI right there. You can definitely tell. Wow. Okay. So we're talking about I guess some of these people have been okay. Yeah, lots of de-aging and aging and using all of the stuff. Okay.
It's Bosom Buddies aged Tom Hanks.
Yeah, interesting. So life happens here. That's the
party too.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess it's about a house or something. Well, whatever.
It's going to be shot from that one perspective the whole time. You're going to watch like 50 years of time go by, and they'll de-age the actors. It's like that movie Boyhood, but not.
Is that really the premise of it?
Yeah, I'm not joking. It's literally it's going to be shot from the perspective of that camera, and you're going to watch the characters live through their 50 years through that house.
Oh wow. Oh. Okay. All right. Okay, sounds good. R. Barrett says, I guess the guy that saw the Despicable Me hasn't seen the Minions doing sexually aggressive and gay stuff on the background of their movies. I've not seen that, but I don't know if I necessarily want that to happen. All right, let's get out of here. Hey, Mercenary, thanks so much for picking up that American Pride t-shirt. Really appreciate that. Once again, you guys I encourage everyone to go pick it up. Link is down in the description. Go show that pride, baby. Go get that and go pick up my kiddo shirt as well. Guys, please tell everybody where you can find it. Jeff, tell everybody where they can find you guys.
So, folks, you can find me on the WCBS YouTube channel. We're about to hit 200K. We just hit 197 yesterday, maybe the day before. Ooh. Things have been moving, so I don't even know what day it happened. But I'd like to thank you guys for having me. If you want more of us and you want to laugh, well, you can check out Wokebusters on Kickstarter, or you have Stealing Solo that makes fun of Disney Star Wars. So if you want a way to get through the pain that was The Force Awakens, well, you can check out mine right here.
Awesome. How's the Kickstarter doing?
It's weird. It's going slow. But here's this. The other book has been selling really, really well to the point where I'm going into the post office almost every day. So it's like, all right, maybe Wokebusters is high concept. People don't get it yet, but I got a video to tell more people what it's about. And it's starting to pick up as, the time ticks down. So I'm really not too worried. I believe in it. I believe in the audience that will find it. But if you're buying Stealing Solo, thank you. I appreciate all of you out there.
Cool. And Dutch, where can everybody find you?
Oh, you can find me on 2 different channels. You can find me on the Salty Nerd podcast, where we're talking about really bad movies again. We're going back to our roots and just having fun and having a few drinks sitting around our table and talking about things like Kick Fighter 6, which we just talked about last week. With the Mountain and Jean-Claude Van Damme and those kind of things. It's crazy movie. And you can also find me over on our new channel, Salty Nerd Gaming, which is basically a Helldivers channel, and we do a weekly podcast for Helldivers there, and we're having a lot of fun. We're building a really good little community over there, and we're playing some games. So video games and movies, that's what we're doing over there at Salty Nerd. It's a lot of fun. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Babs, how'd your Harry Potter video do?
Almost like 500 views in less than 24 hours, and I only have 3,000 subs, so I like it. I'll take it.
That's excellent.
Everyone seems to be liking it, so hooray.
Love that. Congratulations, Blabs.
Thank you.
All right. You guys can find me over on the Side Scrollers Plays channel. Not tomorrow, actually. I won't be live tomorrow, but I did beat Donkey Kong. I did beat DuckTales Remastered, which was great. Finally got through that. Only took 4 days and 4 playthroughs to get through there. So finally did that. But appreciate you guys popping in. By the way, Taker came in with a nice $5 direct donation. Says, I want to see the fat Jedi from episode 2 fight Quimir. Quimir. What is that? Quimir?
Yeah.
When Quimir tries to force push him, he just gives grins and gives him the rock eyebrow while Quimir looks confused. Then he force pushes street tacos into Quimir's mouth, thus defeating him. Thank you, Taker. Appreciate that. That's wonderful. And then we have Snake Master coming in. Says new Dead Rising remaster coming, reveal next week. Interesting. Okay, well, we'll see if that does happen. All right. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Appreciate everybody. Jeff, Dutch, appreciate you guys. Blabs, great job today. You guys have a great rest of your day. Remember, people are going to try to keep you down. Don't let them. You guys got a goal. Go get it. We'll see you guys tomorrow when we're back at it at 11 a.m. Central Time. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.